Wow. Wow, guys. That really sucked. Grateful to get the point, but that one really, really was a tease. Wow. Just a lot to get to in this one. A lot to get to this one. Welcome back, Devils fans. This is your host, Ace. Here I'm running with the Devils, and we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And our beloved New Jersey Devils back in action at the Rock, looking to complete the sweep of a 3-game homestand. And unfortunately, after a very late comeback, the Devils fall short in overtime to the Islanders by a score of 3-2. And it stings. Just got back from the game. I may have set a new record in terms of transit time door to door. Thanks largely in part to a very brisk jog / nearly sprint out of the building to the vehicle before hitting Batman-like levels. But this one really sucked. I mean, obviously it sucked. Grateful to get the point, obviously. Lots to get to. Let's just get to the goals here. We start off first period, early power play for our New Jersey Devils. And what do you know? Timo Meier on power play 1. When Timo's on the power play, good things happen. Timo Meier gets his 5th of the season from Jesper Bratt and Lukehughes at 2:12 to give the Devils the 1-0 lead. And vibes are pretty high early. It's feeling good in the Rock. Timo's on the board early. It seemed like, okay, maybe this is going to be a nice offensive explosion type of night for the Devils. Obviously had their struggles against Pittsburgh in the prior game and found a way to win regardless. Devils up 1-0 early. I was feeling good. That is how the period would end. 1-0 Devils. We head to the second. And you got to tip your cap to Sorokin. He played pretty solid throughout. He's one of the best goaltenders in the world, guys. Let's be real. He is one of the best goalies in the league. And he showed it tonight. Bo Horvat gets one at 6:55 for the Isles from Kyle Palmieri. Ties it up at 1. That is how the second period would end. All knotted up at 1, heading into the third period. And I was like, this is going to be some old school New Jersey Devils hockey. I've talked about this actually from even the summer. I thought that this season might be a season where we see a lot of 2-1, 3-2 type games because we are sound defensively when healthy. With solid goaltending, we don't always have to get into those pond hockey, high-scoring affairs. Tied up at 1, heading into the third, and on the power play, Kyle Palmieri, former New Jersey Devil, of course, his second point of the game on the power play, just getting down and dirty in the crease, doing the dirty work, crafty veteran that he is. I didn't realize he had 5 on the season. His 5th of the season, assisted by Schaefer and Horvat at 17:07 of the third. Gives the gives the Islanders the 2-1 lead. And at that point, it seemed grim. Obviously, the Devils had the 2 power plays right before. They had 2 power plays in the final, 9 or 10 minutes of the game. 2 power plays, had some chances. They were rolling out the big 4, Jack, Nico, Timo, Bratter, with Lukehughes on the point. Generated a lot of good chances throughout the 2 power plays. Sorokin was there answering the bell every time. We couldn't get one past him. And then we knew the makeup call was coming. The people I was with at the game, I said, it's only a matter of time before they give the Islanders one. Sure enough, they did. Oh, I keep forgetting, guys. Win or lose, we booze. I'm going with the surf sides. I'm throwing it back. Even though the summer's over, love the surf sides. And, tonight we've been drinking a lot of victory drinks. Tonight, we imbibe on loser beverages. Cheers to all of you for coming out here tonight. Salute my Devils fans. But really, the game was lost by the Devils, in my opinion, when they failed to convert on one of those 2 power plays in the final, whatever it was, 9 or 10 minutes. They had those back-to-back power plays. Got chances, couldn't get one past them. Islanders get the call. And Palmieri gets one for the go-ahead, former Devil. His second point of the game. And it looked like all was lost. Sheldon Keefe pulled Markey, I think, with like 2:47 or something like that. It was a little under 3 minutes. A pretty aggressive move from Keefe. Pulls Markey. Devils have some shots. And then with 5 seconds left, a Nemo bomb, an absolute Nemo bomb sends the Rock into a frenzy. Nemo's first of the season at 19:55 from Bratter and Timo Meier. ties up the game at 2, and sends us to overtime. Overtime session didn't last long. Jack Hughes tried to jump a pass, was oh so close. I thought as it was happening that he was gonna grab the puck and go in all alone. I really did, and I was envisioning him winning the game in that fashion, but he just a step behind, couldn't get it. Islanders break out the other way. Barzal in all alone, beats Markey. Unfortunate, 3-on-3 overtime's a deadly game, and more times than not, the Devils will come out ahead, but it wasn't in the cards tonight. Barzal's fourth from Druin and Pulak at 117 gives the Islanders the win, and man, I wanted this win so badly. Undefeated on home ice, no more. But, if we're being real, 5 points out of a possible 6 on the 3-game homestand, I'll certainly take it. I did think the Devils deserved to win the game tonight. I thought they played well enough to win, but Sorokin was the difference, in my opinion. We get to the game stats. Islanders 24 shots on goal, Devils with 35. Islanders getting us in the faceoff percentage here, 54.8 to 45.2. Isles power play 1-for-1. When it mattered most, late in the game, they convert. Devils go 1-for-4, and while 25% is very good or not very good, but decent to good for a power play, those last two was the game. They had to score. They had to score on one of those two in the final 10 minutes. Devils could not. Islanders got the makeup call. That gave them the go-ahead, and then Nemo tied it up eventually. But we could have won in regulation, in my opinion. Or at least, it's a tough game. The Devils did play better, in my opinion. But we saw last game, the Penguins outplayed the Devils for stretches, and we got the win. That's the way it goes sometimes. Islanders 17 hits, Devils with 13. Would definitely like to see more hits. Islanders 19 block shots, Devils with 11 block shots, which is kind of low for them as well. You guys know I like the hits plus block shots to be at 40. 40 or more is very nice. Tonight, nowhere near there. Islanders 12 giveaways, Devils 20 giveaways. Yeah, that's a lot of giveaways. Islanders 4 takeaways, and the Devils with 3 takeaways. I really wanted this one, guys. I really did. We go to the 3 stars of the game. The 3rd star, Kyle Palmieri, former New Jersey Devil. In true fashion, a former Devil comes back to hurt the Devils, and he had a goal and assist for 2 points. The 2nd star, Nemo, with the game-tying goal. And the 1st star, Barzal, obviously with the overtime winner there. And, yeah, I do feel that Sorokin was probably robbed here. I do think he should have been a star. I'm trying to think. Who would I have voted for if I was voting on this? I hate to say this as a Devils fan, but I don't think I would have given a Devil a star of the game. Even though it was a big goal by Nemo, it was in a losing effort. Palmieri had 2 points, the go-ahead goal. Yeah, I probably would have had Palmieri as a 3rd star with Sorokin as 1st or 2nd star, and then Barzal the other one. I could go either way with that. I have no real kind of strong opinion on that. I could see both arguments. Barzal at 1 and Sorokin at 2 or vice versa. But 3 stars of the game. And we get to the game stats. Stefan Nason, not much going on there. Obviously started off the game with the big guns with Jack and Bratter. And then in the 3rd period, I think we saw Grits playing with Jack and Bratter. Cody Glass, 2 shots, 2 blocks. Nico, 3 shots. Zack MacEwen, like this guy's game. I do. He's a big physical specimen, and he just plays that heavier, edgier, more violent game. I think he should be a permanent fixture on the 4th line, in my opinion. Love the size, love the speed. He was kind of all over the place. I like MacEwen a lot. I liked him in that Tampa game, the only game he played this season before he got hurt. I like him. I think he could be a nice 4th line piece. 2 shots for him and 4 hits. Pally, 2 shots and a block. Timo Meyer with 5 shots and a hit. Bratter with 2 assists, 2 hits. Grits, 2 shots. Jack Hughes with 11 shots. My God. Yeah, he had chances all over the place. He couldn't get one to go, but Jack looked like he was in overdrive tonight. He was generating a lot, especially on those last couple power plays. He was all over the place. 11 shots for Jack. My God, that's insane. That might be a season high for him. I wonder what his career high is. It can't be much more than that. 11 shots in a game is psychotic. Dawson Mercer, a shot and a hit. My man Dilly doing his thing, 2 shots. 2 blocks rather, 3 hits. Lukehughes, 4 shots, a block, 2 giveaways. I got to rewatch that because the arena replay doesn't show the whole play. I do think he got interfered with or something, right, on that one where he made the bad pass and then he kind of got crunched into the linesman. Unfortunate sequence. Siegs with I can't forget about the guys that got us to the end of the game, at least. Siegenthaler saved the goal, and I believe the second or third period he laid out when there was a wide open net, and Markey immediately gave him the thank you rub on the head. Great play by Siegs there. Markey with 2 big poke checks tonight, channeling his inner Martin Brodeur. Maybe he was inspired by Jake Allen doing it in the previous game. A lot of people killing Cotter for the penalty. I mean, listen, I'm not going to kill the guy for it. Obviously, it wasn't a great penalty. Horrible timing, obviously. But, it is what it is. These things are going to happen. You need to come up with a big kill, and we could not. But Siegenthaler saved the goal earlier in the game. I do believe on one of the poke checks, the puck popped up, and then Bratter on the back check batted it out of the air. I do believe that was going in. Again, when you're at the game, you don't see all the replays and things. So there, while I love attending games live, you do miss out on a lot of things that I've grown accustomed to with watching at home. Obviously, the replays and all that stuff is kind of lost while you're at the game. You get a version of a replay, but a lot of times it's a much shorter clip and you don't see what you're looking for, like whatever the sequence was that preceded it. But obviously an ill-advised penalty by Cotter, and you had to know the refs were going to be looking to give the Islanders a power play after the Devils had 2 right before that. And Markey, 21 saves on 24 shots. I thought he made some big saves to keep the Devils in it as well. Just one of those nights, unfortunately. It sucks. I'm happy we got the point, obviously, but it would have been nice to win this one to remain unbeaten on home ice. But now that the boys are 7-1 at the Rock, I mean, you can't be mad at that. But it would have been nice to get the extra point. But it wasn't in the cards. And we now go to the chat. Jonathan G, the Ranger fan. Listen, I don't like muting people and all these things, but it is just like unprecedented levels of trolling. And obviously I was driving, so I'm not looking at it. But as I was running into my house, I saw some of the comments and I saw people, so I just hit the mute button on them. And look at that. I got my 10,000 steps on the Fitbit. It might burn off. Maybe that burned off like 1/7 of the calories I consumed tonight at the game. Shout out to my man, Brian. Thank you for the tickets, Brian. Detrimental to my health, obviously. But, yeah, we get to the comments here. 4 directions. Thank you, Ace. I believe that's in reference to the Jonathan G muting. Yeah, thank you, Ace. What's it to you? How you doing? Or whatever mod did that. Yeah, that was me. Collect records. Everyone just block him individually and be talking to him. Where did Jonathan go? He got put in timeout. David chimes, how the attending media doesn't give Sorokin a star is crazy. Yeah, I agree. These guys are backwards stuck in goals against as if save percentage alone, advanced stats don't exist. Sorokin saved 3 goals above expected. I just said that a minute ago, David. He was a difference maker. I certainly would have given him a star as well. I'm not sure I'm in all caps. Y'all are soft. When is Dougie back? Come on, man. You know the deal with injuries. We don't know. We have no idea. At this point, I just wait to see, to hear that they're in the lineup or at least they're back on the ice. I'm still wondering what the hell happened to Connor Brown. That is the mystery of the season thus far, in my opinion. We didn't even know he got hurt in the game, and then it was either the next day or 2 days later, they're like, oh, wait, Connor Brown's not at practice. And then it was like, oh, wait, Connor Brown might miss the next game. He's a game-time decision. And I forget what game that was, but he missed at this point, I think, was tonight his 5th game he missed? I believe he's missed 4 or 5 games minimum. And they keep saying he's, like, close to returning, but they've been saying that since the first game he missed. So at this point, I don't know when we're going to see Connor Brown back, but you're starting to see it. The injuries, and again, it's not making excuses. It's just calling it for what it is. The injuries are killer to this team. I'm all over the place. I'm just trying to think about what some other things I made a note of kind of mentally. Yeah, the big 4 on the power play with Luke. Listen, Luke is no Dougie on the power play. Let's be real. I love Luke. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player. He's got crazy offensive talent, obviously, but at 22 years of age, he is not Dougie Hamilton on the power play. And furthermore, he's a left-handed shot. And I think for those of you paying close attention on those power plays, having 5 lefties out there on power play 1, there was a couple instances where it kind of handcuffed them. Desperately missing Dougie, desperately missing that right-handed shot on the power play. And the injuries suck, guys. The entire right side D is crushed, just down right now. And we have a third pairing that are comprised of guys that would be in the AHL. It is the unfortunate reality. We just need to figure out how to grind out some wins until we get some of these bodies back. But it really is just an uphill battle at the moment. When is Dougie back? David says, last I heard within the week. I'm not buying anything till I see it. 4 directions probably after the road trip. Aaron, we're still number 1. Richard, maybe the most complete game they played thus far. We got a point, and there's nobody to point a finger at. I guess you could look at the power play, but Sorokin was on fire. He was, but you got to score on one of those 2 power plays, in my opinion. You're given 2 power plays in the final 10 minutes or so of a game. You got to cash one of those. You got to win the game there. Got to do it. That was the momentum swing. We came in second TF, already more peaceful. Y'all are soft. MacEwen is pretty good for the 4th line. Yeah, heavier, edgier, more violent. That man, I think, is a little bit of everything we need. He's got a little bit of speed, size, physicality, nastiness. I am a MacEwen fan. I said it to you guys after the one game he played in against Tampa, and I'm glad he's finally back. I think he should be a fixture on the 4th line. Now, what that means for everything else, I'm not even going to sit here and speculate. We've played the game of what are the lines, what's the lineup when fully healthy. At this point, I don't think this team will ever be fully healthy. Do I think we'll be closer to full health than we are now? Yes. But will we have every single guy ready to go on any given night? Probably not. That would be, I think, a statistical anomaly for this group. Ryan says, John Woodson and y'all are soft have to be the whiniest, out of shape, never played hockey before. No wonder you 2 know how many minutes. All right, everybody settle down. The 4 directions, our power play certainly didn't help us. Luke had that bad hiccup, but overall, Sorokin had his middle finger up in the air and saved pretty much everything. Yeah. Sorokin is one of the best goalies in the league, guys. That's no BS. He is very, very good. Alex, bright side that we lost home, we did not leave empty-handed. Yeah, the point is nice. Silver lining. You know I hate silver linings and moral victories, but 1 point is definitely better than none. Stick figure, what's going on? This is all PBA's fault. PBA, it wasn't PBA. No PBA here. The 4 directions. Holy crap, did you drag race home? Not quite drag race, but close to it, I would say. Y'all are soft. I need Nico to start producing. Yeah, Nico is, he's been a little quiet offensively as of late, but keep in mind, our man is defensively responsible, and he's shutting down superstars on a regular basis, on at least most nights. I think he had a rough outing a couple games ago, but he's always out there getting the tough matchups and shutting down superstar players in the league. And so I do think his offense will obviously take a hit because of that. He's focused on, keeping pucks out of our net, and we need guys to do that. And even more so now with a depleted defense. Our 3rd pairing is comprised of AHL players. No disrespect to them. They've done a decent job thus far, in my opinion. Chalowski and White. White had a nice move, I think, where he pinched. I forget what period it was. He pinched and kind of slid down the wall, cut to the net, and got a decent scoring chance. It obviously didn't go, but it was a nice little heads-up play by him. Bobby, thank you, sir, for the super. We got a point, and that's what counts. But this loss falls squarely on Luke's shoulders. That first goal purely on Luke's moronic blind look past the OT winner was some of the laziest defense Luke could have mustered. Get Luke off power play 1. Tell us how you really feel, Bobby. I gotta rewatch the first one because the arena replay didn't show the whole thing. But I was told that there probably should have been a penalty, and then he kind of got sandwiched into the linesman. It was an unfortunate thing. I do have to go back and watch it, but the OT winner was brutal to see for sure. And right now with Dougie out, are you going to put Nemitz on power play 1? I mean, it's just not realistic in my opinion. Do I think he could do an okay job? Sure. Do I think it'll ever happen? No, I just can't see it. With, maybe not a lot of people, but there's a faction of people that were willing to trade Dougie Hamilton this summer and were stating that, Luke's ready to take over. And I told everybody that was nuts at the time. I said, listen, I like Luke. Great kid. Lots of offensive talent. I think he could run a nice power play. I think he's going to continue to get better and better. But at 22 years old, it is a complete slap in the face and disrespectful to Dougie Hamilton to believe that at this juncture, Luke Hughes was just going to assume all of those duties and the team wasn't going to skip a beat. And you're seeing it now. Obviously, it's compounded with the injuries to Kovacevic and Pesci. But in the end, even if you're just looking at the power play specifically, Dougie is a next-level power play player. Between the shot, his vision, his hockey sense, he's just a veteran. And being a righty, there's so many things that go into it. But I do think, the power play is going to struggle while Dougie's down, and it sucks. But this team just needs to figure out how to scrape for points until we get some guys back. But thank you very much for the super, Bobby. Really appreciate it. Okay, we get back over here before. Yeah, it was the Batmobile was ripping, boys. It was flying. Robert, Ace, I'm sorry I was tempted to bet on the Isles getting that power play goal. I just have a bad feeling about Mark. He seems he has a pattern of timely goals against. I mean, listen, Markey, I think I'm curious. Does anyone have the stats on his goals saved above expected tonight? There was some crazy saves made by Markey. I'd be curious to know what his goals, above expected was. Richards has got to wear the pocket square at the blazer. Gives the jacket and shirt a little pop. Man, I'm running around. I'm doing all kinds of things. Yeah, I have a couple. I custom made a cool one actually a long time ago. Maybe I'll look for it. Eric, can Markstrom make the big save? Haven't seen it yet this season. Eric, do you watch the games? I understand that some of them are untimely goals against and some of them are kind of softies here and there. But Markey also comes up with some crazy saves that you don't expect him to make. I really was hoping for like a solid Markey outing tonight, which I don't think we got. But I certainly would not blame this loss on him whatsoever. David Sorokin saved 3 above expected. Markey close to 1 below expected. There it is. All goaltending differential. You notice mistakes more when you lose, but we played a fine game. Sorokin stole it. Yeah, I mean, he was solid. All right, so I got it. Sorry, guys, this happens. I start. I get far behind here. I start off on a decent pace. Zupamaki 3-3-1 in the last 7 with all the injuries is not so bad. We'll be okay. I hope so. But now we're going back on the road. Tasha says Sorokin should have been star 1. M Sharp, we got a point. Tasha, PBA's fault is brutal. There is no PBA. PBA could possibly be rest in peace. A whole nother story for another time, but PBA may be dead and gone. Alex, I'm surprised we didn't get scored on with Markey pulled for so long. That's got to say something. Yeah, Jack was out there, I believe, I think he played the whole rest of the third after that. And maybe that's something we'll see Keith do more often. If they're down a goal, he'll pull the goalie a little bit earlier. Tasha, 67 people in the chat and 20 likes. Hit the like for Asia. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. Thank you. And for your New Jersey Devils, despite the loss, 5 out of 6 potential points on this homestand is not too bad, guys. We didn't sweep the trip, but 5 out of 6, I'll take it. It would have been nice after the. All right, so now I'm looking here. Oh, this is per game. No, I'm just looking at some of these advanced stats here. Where's the let's see. Oh my God. All right, so I'm actually, I figured it was going to be bad, but here we go. Give me 1 second. Wow. All right, so this really does support the Sorokin first star of the game, I think, narrative. Yeah, so I'm amending when I said before I didn't have a preference that it was either Sorokin 1 and Barzal 2 or vice versa. I'm firmly on that Sorokin should have been the first star. And we present, I should say, the deserve to win-o-meter. I've been referencing the past couple games. I knew the Devils would have been a high percentage, but I didn't anticipate this. Devils deserve to win meter per money puck, 85.1% to the Islanders 14.9. That's pretty dominant. The Islanders win 14.9% of the time after 1,000 game simulations. The Devils won a game that was almost the exact opposite of this. Against what game was it? No, it wasn't the Pittsburgh game. Was it the Montreal game? Let me see if I could find it here. What the hell game was that? There was a game where the Devils won, but they were in the deserve to win meter. It was like they were very small. I think they were 11%. I can't remember what game it was. But either way, the Devils were thoroughly outplayed in a game which they won, and that kind of supports what happened with the Islanders tonight. Devils deserve to win meter, 85.1, but in the end, Sorokin was the difference, and the Devils get the loser point. All right, we back to the chat over here. All right, I got to skip ahead a little bit. Cody Skills says, Amagi Legacy, thank you for hooking me up with the Devils Reverse Retro 2.0 jersey. Look at this. People making deals. This is what it's about, guys. We're building a community here. We have trades going on, jersey sales, people meeting up in real life. Love to see it. Cody Skills and Amagi, glad that worked out for you guys. Woodson says, poor puck management. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. 1 for 4 on the power play. No 5-on-5 goals. Not our game. Sorokin is a wall. Completely agree. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. Missing Dougie yet? I am. Oh, it's so funny you say that, Jeremy. I don't remember. Pardon me not remembering everything. Obviously, there's a lot of you guys, and I do a lot of videos and shows, so sometimes I get things confused. But I knew that Dougie going down was going to be a calamity, especially when, obviously, Pesce, Kovacevic are already out. But I have told everyone for a very long time, I said, listen here, people. You will miss Dougie Hamilton when he is gone, whether that's a trade or whatever. You will miss him when he's gone, and people have short memories, very short memories, selective memories, perhaps. When he went down in that 23-24 season, you saw the team, the play drop off. And without him in the lineup, whether it's an injury or in the future when he's dealt, you will feel his absence. And this team is already feeling it, a couple games after he's been out? Obviously, again, with Pesce and Kovacevic out, we are less insulated from his injury. But he is a massive part of this team. And now people, I think, that were kind of haters or doubters are starting to realize, like, oh, shit, Dougie is super valuable to this club. It is what it is. But, yeah, I've missed him since the minute he went down. Robert, I'll take the point not being pessimistic. Unless we got a big lead, I just don't trust Markey. I'm sorry. We'll see you during the season. You'll remember this post. I mean, yeah, you're not the only one there. I think a lot of people feel a little bit safer with Jake Allen right now, and I think that's understandable. Tasha says, all right, I'm catching a bit of a cold. I'm going to turn early. Good night. Good night to you. NJ Swamp Fox, Cotter has to be smarter when refs are looking to call it on the Devils after the only legit penalties were on the aisles. Tooth Ace, when Quinn comes to play with the Devils, what number will Luke wear? I don't think Luke changes his number. I think Quinn would take a different number. Woodson, you cannot take a penalty under 5 minutes to go in a tie game. Rule number 1. I agree. Vic, sup, Ace Devs fam. Tough one to swallow, especially after Nemo's late goal. At least they fought back to earn a point. Completely agree there. Zach says, thought Brat had an off night. He still gets 2 assists. Yeah, that's what happens when you're a beast. Kaylee, we are really missing the elite shooter who can do one-timers. They're way too passive on the power play. So, funny you mentioned that. That's another thing I forgot about. On the power play, they had Timo as the net front guy, and I think he's great there. Don't get me wrong. We saw him tie the game late against Montreal, parked in front of the net, fighting for the loose puck in the crease. I do like Timo there. He is a bull, and I think he's great in that spot. However, I do think he's even better kind of roaming in the slot or kind of getting lost near the circle and looking to wind up, get locked and loaded for the one-timer. I think that's where Timo is best because he just has a bomb of a shot. He usually gets it through traffic, and if it doesn't go in, a lot of times it's either deflectable or will result in a juicy, juicy rebound. But I do like him. I do like him as the net front guy down low because he is a bull and he can perform there. I just feel like he's even better at uncorking the bomb. That beautiful one-timer. Woodson, Cotter has great hands and speed, but yikes, you can see why Vegas traded him for Holtz. Well, I mean, come on. Come on now, Woodson. Angel says Hallinan better than Glendening. I mean, I don't know how you would really quantify that, but Glendening's a center, so you have to understand, with the Devils' lack of center depth, it's tough. It's really tough. You know, that's why a lot of people wanted to see the Devils get a 3C this summer and hopefully had Cody Glass as the 4C. But I will say, Cody Glass has been, I would say, I thought he would do okay, but he has, I think, performed a little bit better than I expected, if I'm being fair. I think he's been a pretty nice surprise. At least a little bit of a surprise. I do like Glass. I think he could do a lot, and he's been pretty solid defensively as well. But just with all these other injuries, guys, it's tough, man. It really is tough. Old man Rob, what's going on? Got the point. Nemitz needs some recognition. Leave it to Markey for the loss. Sorry, Ace. I'm a hockey guy since 8 years old, 50 now. Devils fan second. I don't know what that means, old man Rob. Robert says, no threads tonight, Ace. Went to a wedding. I don't know what that means either. Vic, Ace, we're still undefeated in regulation at home, at least. Still very good record regardless. No, for sure. Would have been nice to stay undefeated, but all good things come to an end, and obviously the Devils were not going to be undefeated at home forever. Would have been nice to at least, you know, get this one, because then we're not back home for like 2 weeks. So it would have been the stat line would have been like Devils unbeaten at home at Thanksgiving, which is like, or near Thanksgiving, which is nearly unheard of. All right, we got to skip ahead, folks. I'm lagging big time. Daniel, what's up? When it comes to NHL players and injuries, they are more secretive than North Korea. M Sharp, good point on all lefties. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. You guys kind of get handcuffed, and you could see where that right-handed shot, Dougie, would come into play. John Woodson, the Palat Grits glass line was on fire tonight. I thought they looked good. Devil Evan 77, what's going on? Hello. Also Devils fans. Howie Goddard, Jeremy Proper says Schmid tearing it up in Vegas. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen, guys. Akira Schmid, forever a franchise legend on this channel. You guys knew how I felt about Akira Schmid. Anyone who brings us back from the dead in a playoff series, especially against the Rangers, especially going on the road, Akira Schmid always a legend around here. John Fay says, wow, what a game. We got a point, but still. Woodson playing Chico on the fourth line compared to Big Mac from last year would have been an improvement. Oh, boy. M. Sharp says, another silver lining, no injuries tonight. You're damn right about that. P-Funk, Devils got goalied so bad tonight and the puck luck was insane. That type of ish happens. Yeah, I mean, our deserve to win meter, I just pulled it up. What was it? Yeah, 85%, and we lost. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. James, Devils dominated tonight. What can you do? Woodson, what was really the point of trading Smith just because we like Dawes more, even though we knew when we got Markey that Dawes was never going to have a chance? I didn't think that was the case. And I don't know. I think I forget what made me think this, but it seemed like at some point with all the up and downs that perhaps Schmid or his agent or both of them had a conversation with the Devils and he expressed his frustration. That may have had something to do with it, but that's just pure speculation. I don't think anyone really knows for sure. Justin says, hit the like button. Thanks. Hit the thumbs up. Don't be stingy now. Oregano dealer, best time to send the kids into the fire. Rather get it over with now than late in the season when the games matter even more. Luke will find his stride, just needs to get out of his own way. 22 years old, guys. Everybody forgets. Still not that experienced. Yes, he's been here for a couple of years now, but it takes defensemen time to develop. He's still pretty green, and he's going to get better with time, but you're going to have some games where he looks like an absolute stallion already, and there's going to be some games where you're like, ooh, that was kind of a, youngish player mistake. it is what it is. I know what we're in for. And the same thing with Nemitz. You're going to have some great games out of him. You're going to have some where you're like, ooh. M-Sharp Luke got interfered with a little bit. He has to fight through that. Yeah, I want to see the replay. Celluloid, what's up? Like Nemo, Luke still needs time to marinate before he begins looking like a 9 million plus D that we are sure he is. Yeah, I agree with that too. People think like, oh, he signed for 9 million, so now he's going to overnight hit the next level, and that's obviously not reality, and that's not how it works. John, Markey playing very, very risky, a little too risky, but it worked at least. Woodson, if Luke needs time to marinate, then why didn't we give him a bridge deal? Woodson, you know the answer to this. Don't be silly. Because when you get a bridge deal, we call that, what is it, penny wise and pound foolish? You give him a bridge deal, and you're like, oh, great, we saved a couple bucks. And then in 3 years from now, he's like, yeah, how you doing? 13 million is the price. You do it to save the money in the end. Robbie's bench toss. Look at it this way. Luke Doomers, when Quinn comes, it's easier to keep Luke on power play too. That said, Luke will get better with age and experience. What's the temperature in New Jersey? 58 down here in SoFlo. I don't even know. I was running, so I got a little warm, but it did feel cold out. Holy, it's 32 degrees and feels like 20. Oh, it's full winter, guys. We have 2 seasons in New Jersey now, and I think it's summer and winter. It seemed like it was summer, and then it was like, bang, frozen. Wintertime. Captain Mafungo, the diving stick checks that Marky made my heart skip a beat. They're a little scary. A little bit. Much like Stella, Luke has to get his groove back. I think he'll get it back soon. Justin, Devils played well but can't win them all. Husky Unchained, thought we were cooked in the end. I'll happily take the point. We need to remember that 3 of our top D are injured along with Brown and Dodonov, and we still sit on top of the NHL. Let's go Devils. P-Funk, Devils are first in the Metro, and people are dooming. Come on, guys. They played awesome tonight. They got goalied. It is what it is. Robert, did you all see Juice on Nashville at 13 shots against and 7 saves? Wow. That's pretty rough. Brandon, my only few complaints today is the Devils throwing really soft hits and just passing way too much and just shoot the damn puck on the power play. John says, I feel like the deserve to win-o-meter is a lie sometimes. Just putting that out there, I don't trust the win-o-meter. I mean, what is there to, I don't think it has any sort of reason to, it's all based on stats and things that it runs through a simulation. So I don't think there's any sort of bias or anything inherently in the system. It's just kind of a gauge to kind of paint the picture of the game. I mean, it obviously is not, it's not gospel, but it's a kind of a tool to get an idea of how the game went. That's all. Woodson, we always struggle to score against heavy checking teams. Thank you, Larry. The Kings game. Oh, yeah, the one Markey stole. Thank you, Larry. Yeah, the Kings game was the deserve to win-o-meter. I think for the Devils was like 11%, and we won the game. Stickfix Ace, can you fill in the folks at home as to why the reaction to Timo's goal was so delayed? Because I don't think it was clear, like, what the hell happened. He ripped it, and I immediately jumped up, and then I was like, yeah, and then I was like, did it go in? I think because Timo's I think that the player's reaction was slightly delayed, and I don't think the goal light didn't go on right away, and neither did the horn in the arena. So I think it was all just kind of one big wave of was like, I thought it went in, right? I jumped up, but then I looked. It seemed like there was a slight delay for the players, and that's probably all predicated on, the goal light and, again, the arena horn. It all seemed to be delayed for a couple seconds. I was curious to see how that looked on TV as well. I will be watching, portions of the game afterwards. Stickfix, so wait, so if PBA isn't here, then why did Common or Ace go to the game in a jacket and a button-up? Oh, that's a long story too, but I had a business meeting in the middle of the day, and I thought there was a chance I was going to have to go from the meeting directly to the arena, which essentially I basically had to do. Yeah. Antonino, Sorokin is the only reason why they won. Was at the game and the Isles fans agreed. John Fay, I miss Dougie on the back end. Without him, our power play is somewhat shit. I mean, listen, we were 1 for 1 on the power play 2 minutes into the game. I can't say that I agree with that, but is it less potent than with Dougie? Absolutely. And Dougie's a great power play quarterback. He really is. I love Dougie. I've defended him against all the people suggesting we trade him for a very long time. It's going to be rough, and I don't know that I'm buying necessarily that he's going to be out for a week. I mean, when was the last game Connor Brown played? I feel like he's been out for over a week, and he was supposed to miss like 1 game. Honky Lips, a loss in OT, not my first choice, but one magical day the whole team will be healthy and on the ice, or I hope so. Yeah, maybe. Robert says Mogilny going into the Hall of Fame as a Devil. I can't believe that he's not I can't believe he's not going to the ceremony. It's crazy. Daniel says you can't pass the puck around for 150 and shoot once with a second left in a power play. Shoot the puck. I mean, I thought Jack was flinging it towards net all the time. I thought Jack was ripping him on net, looking for some passes as well. But wow. Daniel, thank you for the super. Please explain the coach's flower lapel pins. Great question, actually. I'm actually kind of surprised no one has brought this up in the past. So it is a poppy, which is for the veterans. Like it's like a Veterans Day, like the equivalent of Veterans Day, but it usually lasts a few weeks for Canada. So it's it's basically like a Canadian Veterans Day that lasts a few weeks. And a lot of coaches will wear the poppy on the jacket there. But thank you for the super, Daniel. Really appreciate it. All right, what do we got here? These are Devils colors, Robert. I'm wearing Devils colors. Schmidt happens. Unhinged, this should be a good season for us. No reason to doom. The East is pretty dang tight. This team doesn't quit. Finding ways to win more versus finding ways to lose second half of last season. Yeah. Yeah. And tonight, unfortunately, it wasn't in the cards, but the game was there for the taking. Devil Evans says, hey, so many teams don't understand how this team is built. What do you mean so many teams don't understand how this team is built? I don't know what that means. Unhinged Devs fan, Ace, were you at press again, suit, not jersey? No. I was at a business function and then had to go straight to the game. John Fay, the Devils, Pens, Canes are fighting for first place in the Metro. Sign me up. This is going to be a good battle to come for the rest of the month and season. Yeah, it's crazy how everyone was sleeping on the Metro division and saying, the Metro is the worst in the league. I mean, they could end up being a power division when it's all said and done. Devils, Canes, Pens. Who knows how long the Caps are going to kind of stay where they're at? You never know. It could end up being a pretty good division. The Penguins. Did I say the Pens? Pens, Devils, Canes. Wild stuff. Unhinged says we must beat the Pens or I will puke. Devil Heaven, we're very good. Imagine if we're healthy. Yeah, I would love to be healthy. Honky Lips. Daniel, they are poppies for veterans of England and Canada under their domain. That's the short answer. John Woodson, you do a bridge deal with Luke so we don't ruin our real cup window in 3 years. Woodson, you keep saying this. You're nuts, bro. You're completely nuts. The window is now. I don't know why you keep saying this 3 years from now. The window is right now. Right now. David says Pens will fall off and be deadline sellers. Canes are playing great, dominating most games except at the end of a 6-game road trip where they were gassed. Canes had a ton of blue line injuries too. Oh, David, I completely disagree. I do not think the Pens will fall off and be deadline sellers at all. At all. At all. I think at worst case, they're in the hunt to make the playoffs down the stretch. I don't think they're ever going to be sellers. You could end up being right, but I just really doubt it. I think Sid and Malkin are going to try to make one last playoff push. Jordan, are we going to see all 3 bros on Team USA? They were all invited to the camp from what I read. They were all invited to the camp. I will be shocked if Luke makes it. There's just so many other great American defensemen and veterans that I do think who will likely, assuming the league, the NHL doesn't do something stupid and not let the players play in the 2030 Olympics. I think Luke will be on the 2030 Olympic team. I don't think he makes it this time around. There's just so many other guys with more experience that are very good. Robert, Luke will give up 43 if Quinn comes. Got to respect older bro. I disagree. Luke was already here. I just don't see it. I could see Quinn maybe being 44 or something. I think that'd be corny if he tried to take the 43. Scott says, how do we get rid of the Doomers? 1 loss and they want to jump. Well, I mean, if you think this is dooming, Scott, you should have been here. Welcome, by the way. I think you're a newer name. I don't recognize your name. I apologize if you've been here before. If you think this is dooming, you haven't seen dooming, my man. If you were out here for some of the post games after the West Coast road trip, my God. It may have been some of the worst dooming I've ever seen at that juncture of a season. I could understand it like in April or even late March when like the games really mattered for playoffs or like to make the playoffs or not. But after the team ripped off an 8-game heater and had a little bit of a skid on a West Coast road trip, some of the comments and stuff people were saying at that point after some of those games was just completely nonsensical. Granted that some of them were ugly losses. I won't even deny it. But you know, that dooming, this is a walk in the park, Scott, compared to what real dooming around here looks like. How I got her, Jeremy Proper says, not dooming, got goalied and stole a point. Points matter in the end. NJ Swan Fox didn't exactly give Nemo a vote of confidence in the postgame interview, was reticent to praise his game, basically saying he's only playing because of injuries. That seems like a stretch. I have to hear the quote. I guess to some extent that is true, right? Because yeah, he wouldn't have a spot with Kovacevic, Pesci, Dougie all healthy. So I mean, I guess in theory that's correct. Scott says, how do we remove the Doomers from this fan base? 1 loss with a point and they want to jump off a bridge. It's like they get off on the Devils losing. Oh, Scott, you're definitely new around here. Welcome, my man, and feel our pain, Scott. Feel our pain. A lot of us, some of the longtime people around here, we've been dealing with this for a long time. These people are nuts. There's nothing you could do, Scott. We're now, 11-4-1, and they're still crying. Some of these people are impossible to please. They will never be happy, and it is what it is. I just don't let the negativity get to me. I just look at this team and say, given what the October schedule was with starting off on the road and then coming home and playing the back-to-back Cup champs on opening night, and then the next home game was on the back-to-back Cup runner-ups, Western Conference champ Oilers, and then just playoff teams and decent teams throughout. And for this team to be 11-4-1 at this juncture with just being completely decimated by injuries, if you're anything short of ecstatic about where this Devils team is today as a Devils fan, you're completely nuts. You're completely nuts. We're 11-4-1 with the entire right side of the defense down. It's insane. Yeah, Captain Mofongo, very happy with where the NJ Devils are at this current juncture. And you're a lunatic if you're not right there with Captain Mofongo and myself and all of the other logical, level-headed Devils fans out here. because to be 11-4-1 with all these injuries and the schedule we had is an absolute blessing. Direwolf should have buried the power play chances we had. Glad we got a point. Nico needs to get the offense going. I think he will. But yeah, the 2 power plays in the final 10 minutes or whatever that was, that's a huge opportunity to put a game away. And Sorokin was the difference tonight. Just like how Markey was the difference for us in LA, and we won a game we probably didn't deserve to, or we definitely didn't deserve to win and shouldn't have won. Sorokin did that for the Islanders tonight, and you got to tip your cap. Larry, Bratt had an excellent game, including saving a goal with a baseball check swing. Honestly, that OT winner was someone on him. Yeah, I mean, I don't need to blame people. They lost as a team tonight, but it seemed like the game could have been put away earlier had we just struck on the power play. Richard, Timo's shot went under that white box in the back of the goal, and he ripped it under it, and the puck never came out. Yeah. No one knew where the puck was. It just went in, and it was just like, huh? Brandon, Devils need to apply pressure on the power play. Their goalie just sits there and waits for us to shoot like we can start pounding shots to the net. Girk and King getting that point was huge. Time for Allen to play 2 in a row and let Markey catch his breath. Let's take a look here. I don't know that they're, the whole tandem goalie thing is it's an interesting kind of situation. Let's take a look here. Yeah, so we have Wednesday at Chicago, Saturday. Yeah, this is wild because there's 2 2-day gaps. Wednesday the 12th at Chicago, Saturday the 15th at the Caps, and then Tuesday the 18th at Tampa Bay. Honestly, I really think at this point, with the goalies, I would just tell them both, you're playing until you lose. Period. You're playing every game until you lose. We are truly going with ride the hot hand. You win, you get the next start. That's it. Obviously, when's the next? There's not a back-to-back for a while. So what's this? 3 games in 5 nights? I mean, yeah, 3 games in 5 nights. They might, these sports science people might try to tell you that's like cruel and unusual punishment, but I'm not buying it. Yeah, I would straight up go to the goalies and be like, listen, boys, you win, you're in. You stay in the net until you lose and see what happens. I'm a huge fan of riding the hot hand. And I do think goalies are very rhythmic creatures, and sometimes you just got to ride one. They keep winning, playing well, just keep riding them and see where it takes you. Yeah, Daniel Siegenthaler made that sprawling save. That was a big one. John Fay, all we can do is take the point and move on to Wednesday's game against the somewhat red-hot Hawks. Devil Heaven, Almo, a.k.a. Mo Gilney. Brandon, as long as the top 6 player doesn't get injured, we will be fine. Jeremy Proper, Brown hasn't played since Sharks games. Missed 5. Okay, yeah, that's what I said, 5 games. Michael, White has been surprisingly solid on D. Definitely more physical than I thought. Woodson says, can't win a cup without a top 6 to play with Jack. I don't necessarily agree with that. I certainly would like our chances much better with that winger, but I don't think that would necessarily be preventative from the Devils winning a cup. But I would like our chances a lot more with one of those guys. Michael pissed. That's how it ended. I was there, man. Yeah, it was brutal. What a tease, right? Nemo who ties it up late, and then we just blow it in OT. But it was super exciting moment after Nemo tied it. Very exciting moment. And a loser point is a blessing in a game like this. We were 5 seconds away from getting absolutely nothing. And so I'll take that loser point. Honky, it's January 8th. Let's road trip to Pittsburgh. Plan ahead. Pittsburgh's a hike. Pittsburgh is a hike. I've always wanted to go there, though, before Sid retires. I should probably get on it. I think that's a massive drive, though. And, like, I don't know. To fly there, maybe? Vince, tough elbow. The boys played well. Sad Markey led in that first one. Kind of think that should have been saved, but alas, was a breakaway and shot earlier than Markey. Oh, well. The four directions. Luke shouldn't make Team USA as a Canadian. Go for it. Yes, please. Oh, you Canadians. Yeah, 34 or 44. I think you're talking about the Quinn number, right? I think that I could see that. Just flipping it or adding one. Oregano dealer Luke should be nowhere near the Olympics right now. Oregano dealer says I'm dooming. SJ says Jack with 10 shots. I think it was 11. 11. Tim, what's up, Tim? Quinn will be number 6. Did he wear that in something else? I was going to say, or he probably has worn different numbers in either international competition or perhaps college. What did he wear in college? Let's see. Now, he was 43 in college. Did he have a... I'm just looking it up. He's worn number 7 in some sort of... And then he also wore 6. That was either World Juniors or some other thing. He's worn 6 and 7 for Team USA when he was younger. So I could see that too. I'm going to go 6'7". 6'7" or 34 would probably be my guesses. Tim, Sorokin won that game, no more, no less. Yeah, I agree. Sorokin won the game, and he was slightly assisted by... I mean, the Devils' power play, they got some of those chances. But, yeah, he definitely showed that he's one of the best goalies in the league. Troy Luke isn't tied the number. He only chose it because it's half of 96. What? Half of 96 is 48. I'm confused. Robert says, imagine the Doomers if the Devils got blown out. I mean, listen, Doomer's going to doom. Captain THC says, say it. Robert, I would have taken 11-4-1 before the season. Yeah, of course, anyone would have. But now that we're here, it's the what have you done for me lately crowd. And by what have you done for me lately, they mean, like, what have you done for me in this game we're watching in the moment? Like, take a step back, guys. Take a step back. 11-4-1. Sign me up all day, every day, heading into the season. And if you say you wouldn't have signed up for that, then you're either an idiot or lying. Because that's given the schedule and given the injuries, shit, we would have signed up for 11-4-1, assuming the team had no injuries. If someone said, okay, through 15 games and then listed all the guys when they were going to get injured, how many games they were going to miss, people would have signed up for 500. You would have signed up for probably 7-1. People would have been like, we'll take it. With the schedule we had, with all those injuries, to be 11-4-1, I am just ecstatic. Scott, thanks for the welcome. I've been around since 95, my friend. These Doomers wouldn't last back in the 2000s. The boys are great this year. Keep up the great content. Thank you, sir. If you've been around since 95, I forgot. How could I forget? Sometimes in my older age, my memory gets a little slippery. But that reminds me, for those that have been around for a while, or for those that may not have been around but want to get a little bit of an education or a little taste of 90s hockey, the Mike Peluso interview number 8, one of my childhood favorites, 1/3 of the crash line, a 1995 Stanley Cup champion with our beloved New Jersey Devils. Interview just came out the other day. I just dropped the link in the chat. Mike is an absolute legend. His stories are amazing. I have talked to Mike for a long time leading up to the interview, and he would not he didn't want to do the interview for whatever reason for a while, but I would talk to him regularly. I don't know if he wasn't comfortable with doing it or whatever it was, but he finally agreed. We did it. It finally came out. Link in the chat. So check it out for longtime fans, especially. And if you're a newer fan that kind of wants to kind of get a feel of some of the old school era, watch it as well. But if you guys were a fan during that time, you will certainly love the Mike Peluso interview because it's just straight nostalgia into the veins. Tim, need you to spread my Nemo to Power Play 1 propaganda ace. I totally believe, Tim, that you have some very lengthy article that I want to read. So drop that in the chat, Tim. I'm sure you have it with charts and all your fancy analytics and numbers. And I'm sure that you will present a compelling case that makes sense. But this is one of those things where I just don't believe it's going to happen, regardless of it making all the sense in the world, Tim, which I believe you, like I said, you have a case that supports it. I just can't see it happening. And I think, a lot of people kind of understand where I'm at with some of that stuff. Richard says, welcome to the crew, even though we're all crazy bastard Devils fans. What's going on, Maria? Honestly, was surprised Marky played tonight, but what do I know? They want to give him his starts and kind of get him out of the slight funk that we've seen here and there. Hopefully, we see some dominant performances from him soon like we saw in LA. That game was crazy. Brandon Markstrom positions himself so aggressive. Any deflections are so disastrous. For him, he needs to settle down in the net. Evan, Ace, are you happy with the team's progress up until this point? Well, I don't know what you mean by progress, but I'm absolutely thrilled with the record. The team is crushed with injuries, and we're 11-4-1. I'm flying high. Amagi, my man, what's going on? What's up, Ace? Love the giveaway pins. The hat is a horrible effort. I didn't really. The look of the hat is cool. Is the quality bad? And thank you for the heads up on the pins. That whole line thing was an epic disaster. I was with my buddy, so I was able to get 2. Yeah, that was quite some line they had going there. SJ says Nico seems off, maybe injured. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's playing through a little bit of something. It's always possible. M. Sharp says, Scott, you made me imagine Doomers in person being taken out to the back alley. Evan says Pittsburgh is a dirty city, no lie. I've never been there. I think the closest I've ever been to there, I guess, is Columbus, Ohio. How I got her, Jeremy Proper, 6+ hours to Duburg. Been to the Igloo. It was cool to see a game there. Went to college out there. Yeah, very nice. I've always wanted to go see Sid there. Okage, getting the loser point was better than getting none at all. The offense had kind of dried up as of late. I really want to see a Devils win where they just obliterate their opponent. Let's go Devils. I think it'll happen sooner than, eventually. But, we're down a lot of bodies right now. And you're going to see it in the play, unfortunately. Bobby, we should have won tonight. No excuse. Nemitz honestly should replace Luke on Power Play 1. Luke has played terribly so far this year. I mean, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I'm not going to say he's played terribly. But, wait, let's see. I forgot to look at that aspect of these things. Yeah, Luke, 27-24. I mean, that is a lot of minutes for a 22-year-old. In Nemitz with 22 minutes. White at 12:01 on D. Chalowski, 13:39. Siegs, 19:28. Dilly with 17:09. Love me some Brendan Dillon. I think Dilly's finally getting some love from the chart crew that hated on him last year. Throwback warrior. How dare you talk ill of that man? Love Brendan Dillon. Larry says Pennsylvania Turnpike is a very long and boring ride, but Pittsburgh is a fun city, much better than Philadelphia. Captain THC, happy to see Nemo getting on the scoreboard in a clutch moment and just increasing his trade value. I mean, that's obviously a possibility. Will be interesting to see how that all plays out, obviously, as we head towards the trade deadline. Does one of the many defensemen the Devils have get cashed in? But you're seeing it now, guys, with the defensive depth we have. And everyone was like, oh, the Devils are so deep on D, including myself. You in an unprecedented shakeup of the entire right side going down, it's almost like you can never be deep enough because we have our whole right side is injured. Like, what are the odds of that? It's got to be insane. And so I don't know that we will see Nemo being traded. I'm curious to know if his season kind of continues on or at least the path he's kind of been on right now, what type of numbers are going to be talked about for his contract. I think he wore 6 in minor hockey. Yeah, what is this 6'7"? I don't know what this 6'7" stuff is. I've seen kids. I've been meaning to look it up. Is this like a TikTok thing? Kids do it nonstop. I don't know what it is. I'm old. I put in what is 6'7" in Google, and it did like a math equation that says -1. Okay, 6'7" meme. 6'7", also written as 67, 6'7", and 6,7, is an internet meme and slang term that emerged in 2025 on TikTok and Instagram Reels. It has no fixed meaning. The phrase originated from the song Doot Doot 6'7" by Skrilla, which became popular in video edits featuring professional basketball players, especially LaMelo Ball, who is 6'7" tall. This sounds ridiculously dumb. I have to do more research on this later. Tim says 6 is the family number. Bobby says, stop fooling yourself. Sorokin didn't win that game. Luke cost us that game. Tim, 43, he got it the program. Luke copied him, and Jack doubled it. Nice. Captain THC, the Rangers would love our record right now, especially our home record, of course. Of course. That October schedule looks super rough, and you were right, Ace. The record now is great. Yeah, I mean, for people still complaining, again, you're just impossible to please. Like my ex-girlfriend or ex-girlfriends. Impossible. John, Sorokin won them the game, but Luke should have had that in OT, I feel like. But I'm trying to figure out what happened to Jack's brain prior to the goal. He thought he was going to jump the pass and go in on a breakaway. I mean, that's what happened, and it didn't work out, and it went the other way. Calculated gamble. M. Sharp said, great interview. Thank you, thank you. Captain THC Peluso is a gentleman. Yes, he is. A gentleman and a scholar. The Four Directions crazy Italian chick story. Haven't laughed that hard in a while. Man, I can only imagine the stories they won't share. I don't think there's any stories that he won't share. We will see. We will see. A gentleman with a routine. John Fay, Nemo to power play 1. I wouldn't mind seeing Nemo get power play time. I think he's been on power play 2 several times in cleanup time. Michael, Nason could be a good compliment to Jack and Brad, but he's got to get his game up to speed. I'd like to swap him for Cotter for a few games. 100%. I would like Cotter. I would even try. I mean, I'm down to try anything, but I do think the Nico, Timo, Mercer line has been good. I do like them together. And so I do like Grits on the third line just because, again, I do think Grits is a legit top 6 player already at this point, but I do fear if he's moved into the top 6 that the bottom 6 just falls off a cliff like we saw last year. So I think the most sensible thing would be to try Cotter on the first line, but there's obviously a reason why the coaching staff really hasn't given him a true opportunity there. Like, yeah, Nason's had a few games. Like, give Cotter that same chance. He's never had that chance. He's played a couple shifts here and there, never had full games and a stretch of games. No article yet, just vibes. Oh, Tim, don't be coming at me with vibes, bro. I want to see the heat map. I need to see the full Tim special. Shout out to Tim. I could never write and do stuff like that. It's very time consuming, and you know, it's a lot of work Tim he's putting in. Drop your links, Tim. I'm more of a video man myself, but I do like reading some of that stuff. David, after proving that Nemo is statistically best on PP1, Tim Wood will unify quantum mechanics and relativity. Yo, you guys are funny. Husky says, let's go Devils. Woodson, Pittsburgh is the nicest city in PA. Honestly, hate the Steelers with a passion, but PNC is arguably the best park in the league. I guess that's where the Pirates play. Brandon says, Ace, let's look at the plus minus on the team. I mean, it's all kind of, I don't know. There's a lot of variables that go into that too. SJ says, I guess Brown is gone forever. I mean, maybe he's going to play the next game, like we've heard every game for the past 4 or 5. Richard, FYI, now I'm really playing my senior tour card, but Bridgman, former captain of the Devils, passed away at age 70. He roomed with Dano for a couple of months. Dano was emotional talking about him. Oh, yeah, I look forward to seeing the game, the stuff before the game. Obviously, when you're at the game, you don't see any of that. Robert says, if Pred sell, who would you want? Brady Shea? No, I would want. I mean, really, I would want Stamkos with money retained is who I would want, but I would be thrilled with O'Reilly as well. But Stammer would be my number one with retention. With the old retention, Wooden says trade deadline will be I guess, dud. You have no choice but unload Dougie if we were to get a big piece. You're not getting it. What's a big piece? Trading Dougie, I think, at the deadline would be suicidal. Tim Wood, Nemitz is calmer and has better poise of the puck. This isn't to say Luke is bad. One mistake doesn't mean bad game. Just think Nemo is a better proxy to Dougie. I agree with that. Snow Devil with all the injuries and still 11-4-1. By the way, Avs fans would have also settled for 11-4-1. 4 directions. I'm old enough to not know these trends. I only know because there's some younger people in the family, so I've kind of overheard some nonsense. But yeah, it's all just complete baloney, complete waste of time. And John Fay, I'll be surprised if anyone has traded this deadline. Everyone is producing one way or another. Either it's on the back end or the front end. Woodson says our youth has no hope. Scratching my head. Completely agree with you, Woodson. The future is grim. Grim. Michael, having 5 of 60 being left-handed is absurd, but they are making it work. Captain THC, something I've been pondering lately. Is Casey going to be good in the NHL or is he the next Ty Smith? Your thoughts? I mean, if I had to pick one or the other, I would say I think he's going to be decent in the NHL. And again, he's only 21 years old. And so you have to realize, yeah, he's 21 years old and he's played 16 NHL games. He's going to get better. He's going to get a little bigger. He's going to get stronger. Now, does that necessarily mean it's on the Devils? No. Maybe he gets dealt to a place where he has an easier path to a full-time NHL job and he thrives there. If I had to put money on it, I do like Casey. I think he puts it together and he does have a decent career. But he's only 21. He's still a little small. I think he's going to bulk up a little bit over time. And you'll see him. I just think he's too good to not be an NHL player. But who knows? That could be, that could be not the case. But skating, shot, it's all there. He just needs to get a little stronger and better in the D zone. But I think he's a guy that could potentially be dealt as well, just because we have all these pieces. But again, our entire right side is down. And so for people like, the depth was beautiful until it wasn't. Going into the season, we're like, yeah, we have all these great the defensive riches in the pipeline and guys on standby, but it's like the whole right side is crumpled. And now you're like, my God, our third pairing is made up of AHL guys in an unprecedented run of injuries over the past few years. It's continued this year. M Sharp never can have enough D, so true ace. That's why you build from the net out. Oh, the old Timmy. I see Tim's underneath you here. The old Lou Lamoriello school of hockey. I love it. You build a team from the net out. We don't have that blue chip forward. M Sharp experience Luke is getting now priceless. Yeah, for sure. Bobby says, I love our record, but when we lose due to stupidity, it grinds my gears. You got to take the bad with the good, Bobby. We didn't deserve to win a couple games here and there, and they found ways to win. They're not always going to go your way. Maria, I think you need to do a round 2 with Peluso. That was awesome. Thank you. I'm definitely going to do a round 2, but I will say, and maybe it's a little bougie or spoiled of me, after doing a couple interviews in person, like, the internet ones kind of suck to me. Like, they're still cool, don't get me wrong. But if it's remotely possible to do them in person, I find the in-person ones, and maybe to you guys it doesn't matter as much watching it. I don't know. Because it's I will be honest, it's weird for me when I watch something back that I'm in. The way I'm looking at it and digesting it and all the things that are going through my mind are probably way different than the rest of you guys watching it. But I just think the product overall is much better if it's in person. And maybe that's just me, I don't know, attributing things in my mind that aren't real to other people, but I like it better and I think it is better. And so I am talking to Mike about doing some cool stuff. And I hope it comes to fruition, because if it does, you're going to see some crazy stuff with me and Mike. Me and number 8. Snow Devil, has Nason been on Power Play 1 yet this year? Maybe once. He definitely was on Power Play 2. Someone with a better memory than me would remember if he was on Power Play 1, but maybe it was Power Play 2. Robert, I like MacEwen too. Does one then place Cotter at center on line 4 and Nason at left wing? Where is Dodonov? Yeah, Robert, we don't know that these guys. I can't even play with these things in my brain because I need to see all these guys healthy before I even rack my brain for this. I do feel like Cotter probably won't be put at center because I think we would have seen that already if they wanted to do that. Because when the Nico, Timo, Mercer line was humming, when Glass got injured, they pushed Mercer to 3C and broke up that line, which had good chemistry. And so I don't know. It just seems like Cotter at center, if it's going to be used as like a super last resort kind of thing. John Fay, as I said in the Peluso interview, we need or could use 2 or 3 more bruisers and brawlers. We have MacEwen who could lay a hit on the 4th line and Dilly on the back end, but I wouldn't mind 2 or 3 more brawlers. I mean, 3 is ridiculous, Fay, and 2 might even be high. But I would like 1 more Scritty, the skilled grit guy would be nice. Husky Unchained Ace, the Gomer interview is my favorite so far. What a gem. Super entertaining. Must watch for Devils fans. Yeah, that one was fun too. Gomer is such a great personality and has such great stories as well. I'm doing a Pablo Torres expose on reffing next. Maria, yes, loved how the interview was raw and uncensored. None of this G-rated. No, Mike has there's no filter on Mike. Definitely no filter. So he's a throwback through and through. Brandon, how about the team stats? Who has thrown the most hits, etc.? I don't know that I can. Let's see. They don't make it easy to find this stuff. All right, well, here we go. All right, you guys want to see the stats? You want to see the stats? Bear with me 1 second while I prep the stats. I want to sign up for this service, but it costs way too much money. It's like something outlandish. All right, you want to see hits? I'll give you the hits. Bah! You want some hits? There are the hits. What do you know? Leading the team in hits once again after setting the single-season hits record last season, Paulie Cotter with 43 hits through the 16 games. What's that, like a little under 3 a game, like 2.5? He's going to have to step that up. My man Dilly, number 2, Brendan Dillon with 42. And then we see a drop-off. Andre Palat with 29, Timo 28, Glendening 22. You guys look at this chart. I'm going to be back in a second. I got to go to the bathroom real quick. I drink a lot of water and iced coffee. And I did not use the bathroom. When after the Batmobile pulled up on 2 wheels into my driveway, I ran in here and had to flick on the studio and do all this. I'll be back in a minute. Back in a minute using the bathroom, but there's the stats. And we'll go over the other stuff too. We got points, all that fun stuff. Be right back. Dougie with the 15 hits in 14 games, and you go down, and then you see at the bottom Jack Hughes with 2 hits. Nemitz with 3. I mean, I don't even know how that's possible. But there you have it. Cotter and Dilly leading the pack, and Andre Palat. And I will say, guys, I don't want to poke you guys too much, but for those that incessantly do him on Palat, which I'm not one of them, by the way, I'm over the fact that he is overpaid. It is what it is. I do think he had value with Jack and Bratter, and I don't want to say that you're kind of seeing the effects of Palat not playing with Jack and Brat, but I will not be surprised if you eventually see Pally back up there. And like I've said before, in the end, it is quite possible that the most productivity you will see out of Jack and Brat could possibly be with Pally on that line. That could be the reality here. And everyone wants to do, get Pally off that line. Well, Pally's off that line now. What is Jack? Jack's been a little quiet. I mean, granted, he had 11 shots today, but none of them went in, right? 11 shots on goal. None of them went in. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, but I think there's something to be said there. Robert, if Oil don't win in the next 3 years, McJesus is gone. Would you want him? Oh, come on, man. I love when you guys throw out these ridiculous things. No, I wouldn't want Connor McDavid, the best player on the planet. Would not want him at all. Why would I want McDavid? Yeah, of course I would want McDavid, but that's not reality. He's never coming to the Devils. Don't even pretend in your brain that it's a possibility, because it's certainly, I promise you, is not. John Woodson, you can't add a player to the deadline without unloading a player of substantial cap to make the numbers work. Yeah, I understand how that works. Thank you, Woodson. And if it came down to it, it would take... Yeah, I think the D overall, if it came down to it, I'd probably keep Dougie over adding a forward. I really would, because I do think you trade Dougie to get cap space to get a forward, that could backfire. John Fay said, as I said before, the new gens are weird. Johnny Two-Tone, sorry if this was mentioned, but the deserve to win meter is wild. Yeah, I pulled it up before. Here it is again. 85.1 for the Devils, 14.9 for the Islanders, but sometimes it be like that. Devils won that Kings game when they only had 11% deserve to win on the deserve to win meter. It is what it is. Richard. I know I'm going to catch it for the plot haters out there, but despite nothing on the sheet, he was very good tonight. Yeah, I mean, listen, if he wasn't making $6 million, if he was just making $2 million, I don't think we hear all these things. But as I said a couple minutes ago, Jack and Brat may be at their best with Palat, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see him back there sooner than later. Larry, October and November are more about maintaining a playoff spot and developing the younger players than worrying about first place. Got to be thrilled with Nemitz getting his confidence back in Gritsuk. SJ says Nemo has more points than Luke. Who would have thought? Yeah, that's a good point. I wouldn't have predicted that, but it's still a long season ahead. If the season ends like that, I would say I'd be pretty shocked. Robert says, I don't know if Mike P has any stories left, Ace. Oh, Robert, I promise you, he has plenty of stories left. I know several that he has told me in prior conversations that did not come up in the interview. And enough of them alone where it would be another extensive, very good interview or storytelling time, plus ones that he's probably never told me. But he's got plenty of stories left. Trust me. He's got stories for days. Bobby, last year, Nason was automatic on power play 1. Why isn't he back on the power play? Our power play has been hibernating the past several games. Well, the main reason is he's still getting back up to game speed. He didn't play in a game from, basically 6 months, from April till October when he returned. Maria, you like the Peluso plans. Let's keep my fingers are crossed. I'm hoping they happen. We're in talks. Nico is king. Tough one. Not even that mad. The Devils were the better team. Just ran into a hot goalie. SJ, the Devils are going to lose games. You hope they win. Way more games than they win. Doom if they have a losing record. Brandon, easily the softest top 6 of the league. Timo has more hits than the top 5 combined. Husky, I think Casey could run our power play. He's magic when cycling the puck with Jack and Brat. Wish he was better on the defensive end. It's really holding him back. Completely agree. Casey... Could I, if I'm being honest, with Dougie down, I think I might say that Casey could be the best power play quarterback, which may sound crazy, but I think I'm with you, Husky. with just his vision, his skating, and his shot, he might be my second choice to run a power play. But like you said, the D-zone stuff is definitely concerning, and that's why he's not in the lineup right now. Howie Goddard, Jeremy Proper, Marchand, 2-0 Panthers. David Chimes, MacEwen, 4 hits plus 2 grade A chances tonight. Love to see his energy. Yeah, he had his head up into the sky. I think it was in the third period. I think he batted it out of the air. He had a very good chance. I would have loved to see him get a goal. Would have been phenomenal, but I like him a lot. I like his game, and I think he's a great addition to the fourth line. Marchand's 11th of the season. My God. Husky said MacEwen with that 99-mile-per-hour bomb. Brandon Jack with 2 hits actually makes me want to puke. Snow Devil keeps it the other day that whatever line plot was on this season has been our best line. I do think he's overpaid, but he's definitely underappreciated by the fan base. I mean, underappreciated by the fan base would be a massive understatement. He takes a lot of flack from people. And again, I think it's primarily driven by the contract. But yeah, the way people talk about him, you would think he's like the worst player to ever play in the league. And that's clearly not the case. Not even close. But contracts, make people targets. When you make money, people target you. That's just the unfortunate reality of the business of professional sports. Richard Ace, I put my blood pressure meds to the test and had an Italian hot dog with roasted potatoes and then one with tater tots and a Guinness. Got to tell you, the tots are awesome despite blood pressure explosion, man. Italian hot dogs are so good. I haven't had one in so long. We were talking about that the other day. I really would like one sooner than later, and I do miss the opportunity to get them at the game. When they had them at the Rock, it was who knows how many years ago it was now. I'm not sure how many years ago it was. It was quite a while ago. But when they had them at the Rock, I think I got them almost every game. They were delicious. I love Italian hot dogs. I mean, Robert, all you got left is Holik, then the whole crash line. Got to be on your bucket list, ace. I did a very brief one with Bobby Holik. Was technically the first one I ever did. I will put that link in the description. It was only like 10 minutes. I would like to get him for a longer one. I've talked to him about it in the past. He's kind of all over the place. Bobby's just chilling, living the life, but Bobby has great stories too. And he's like, he's like a professor. He is like a professor. Love Bobby Holik. SJ, Casey doesn't have the size that hurts him defensively for sure. Husky, wish he was built like Rafalski. What a legend Rafalski was. Man, that 2000 Devils team was so much fun. And a lot of those guys obviously were on the 2003 team, Rafalski being one of them. What a time to be a Devils fan. Brandon, who would your pick be for power play 1 to take Timo's spot in front of the net to put it on the right circle? I don't know. I wouldn't mind maybe seeing Nason where he was. Make Nason the net front guy. You'd have to pull somebody out. You'd have to pull somebody out to swap in Nason. I'm not sure who I would pick to come out, but Jack obviously is a must to be out there. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting if we just went 5. I would love to see 5 forwards, honestly. So just pull Luke off of there and just go overload the big 4 and maybe Nason, or the big 4 and maybe Dawson Mercer as the net front guy. I don't know. I'd be curious to see 5 forwards out there, though. I would try it. Shit. What a power play that could be. That'd be interesting. Michael, I'm not concerned with our top 6 not laying hits. That's what Nason, Brown, Cotter, and MacEwen are there for sure. Claude and Nason. Richard, Ace, this is probably a long shot because I heard he could be but I'd love to hear from Claude. I'd love to talk to Claude. I've talked to him briefly in the past. He just celebrated his 60th birthday in the summer as well. He's another guy that's kind of all over the place and doesn't love media stuff, even in his post-playing career. Tim, the Meyer-Hischier-Mercer line since the West Coast trip began, minus 34.17 expected goal percentage, 29.23 scoring chances share, 40% high danger chances share, outscored 6-1. Okay. Those obviously aren't very good numbers, but I'm still. So then, Tim, what is the blended numbers when you include when they were doing well? SJ, would love to see you interview your favorite player, Marty, but I know it's hard to do. I have a grand plan for Marty one day. I hope it comes to fruition. It will be the pinnacle of my whatever you want to call this, channel career or whatever. I have a really cool idea for Marty. We'll see. Hopefully one day. Hits mean you don't have the puck. We want Jack and Brad to have the puck. Yeah, of course, Tim. But 2 hits through, what's this now, 16 games? You'd imagine by accident you would have more than that. But I'm not going to kill the guy for it. It's just kind of a funny little throwaway stat there. Snow Devil Ace, what are your thoughts on Colton White? He's been playing better than I expected. I've been pleasantly surprised by both him and Chalowski this season. I mean, they're surviving. I don't know what the detailed numbers on them would be. I think they were out there for some of those extensive Penguins ozone shifts last game, but I thought White looked decent today. He had a nice pinch. I remember I mentioned it earlier. He had a nice pinch and got off a sneaky little shot in tight at some point. I mean, the fact that they're not, that we're not seeing them on the other team's highlight reel several times a night is enough for me to say that they're doing a decent job and that they're not just fully drowning. Obviously, there's a lot of strain. Their minutes are being managed, obviously, by Keefe in situations. But for 2 guys that were expected to be in the AHL and they're now thrust into NHL jobs, I can't really hate on them. They're AHL guys, and and it's not even like they're AHL guys paired with an NHL veteran. They're AHL guys playing with each other. A third pairing of guys that wouldn't be in the league. It's pretty wild that the injuries have put us here. Pepe, what a legend. 1995 Conn Smythe winner. It's hard to see, but he's here in the studio. Where is that? If I move, I can't figure out how to move out of the way. He's over. There he is. Over here. That's the 95 Pepe Conn Smythe. That's awful, Tim. Wow. Larry, Chalowski is going back to Utica before White. Maybe. I think that depends on who comes back on defense first. Whatever happened to Pepe's son, Brandon? Always liked him. I think did he last? Brendan. I think did he last play for Carolina, and then I forgot. I kind of lost track of him. Yeah, it was Carolina in 23-24. He's playing in Switzerland now. Snow Devil. Keith has been using our second line to shut down top lines. Lower offensive numbers is to be expected. Michael White was pretty solid today. Def played physical, playing like a guy who wants to keep an NHL paycheck as long as he can, which isn't a bad thing. Brandon Brady has 10 hits in 3 games. I'm assuming you're talking about Brady Tkachuk. First of all, Brady Tkachuk is an absolute savage beast. I'm so looking forward to Team USA Olympic hockey. You guys have no idea. Team USA Olympic hockey is going to be next level. I want to see the Americans win it so badly. So badly. Beating Team Canada in the gold medal game would be all-time. All-time classic. I hate Ticketmaster, by the way. They try to put all these like anti-robot things in place, and like there's constantly problems where it's like it thinks I'm a bot, and it's like, no, man. What is your deal? Just let me try to buy tickets. Tim White plays a nice, simple game. Meyer, Hischier, Mercer total last season, 53% expected goals, 49% shots, outscored 6-5, so it's gotten pretty bad since getting home. Ryan says, I mean, the Canadians are going to dominate U.S. per the usual agreement. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm trying to buy some concert tickets, guys. I forgot about this. Oh. Everything's platinum these days. Direct scalping. Platinum. What a joke. What a joke. Maria, White played with competence, like what I saw from him. Larry, how many block shots does Jack have? Let's see. I don't know that I could pull that up easily either. Oh, no, we can. Ask and you shall receive. These stupid pop-ups. You want the block shots, huh? Bang. Block shots you will get. Dun, 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 dun. 1 second while we prepare the document. By document, I guess I mean graphic. Almost X'd out of this. Yeesh. Jack has 9 block shots. Siegs leading the way with 34. Dilly with 32. Shimo Nemitz, 26. Pesci with 24. And he's played... look at that tells you everything you need to know, right? Pesci's only played 9 games. He's almost averaging 3 blocks a game. Nico with 19. You got Dougie 18, Palat, and then you see the whole list there. But yeah, Siegs is a beast. Brandon Brady is probably my favorite NHL player, to be honest. He's my favorite non-Devils player, or at least one of them. Probably number 1, but he's definitely up there. Jack has 9 blocks. You'll ever see the Kevin Stevens bio? Shattered. Damn, didn't realize what he has been through after he got his face smashed. Must see. What is that on? What is Shattered on? Loved Brady and the Goonies. Brandon, Brady makes me laugh. He's such a dog. Complete dog. Doggy dog. SJ, we have Hellebuck, so there's hope for USA. Hellebuck and Net's a good one, man. It's a shame we couldn't win the Four Nations final game. I really wish they could have won that. Austin Matthews had some golden opportunities in that overtime. And friggin' what's his face? Jordan Binnington robbed them. And then McDavid gets the dub. There's a documentary called Punched Out, The Life of Derek Bogart. I think I saw that, or parts of it, maybe. John says, who gets to start Wednesday? Marky, I would assume. I would go back to Allen. I would go back to Allen, but I can't predict anymore. The way they plan the goaltending starts, there's no rhyme or reason sometimes for me to guess. We'll see. I would go Allen personally, but yeah, because you're talking about Allen. I don't want Allen sitting for too long. I don't want any goalie to sit for that long. But Allen's last game obviously was Sunday the 8th. If he doesn't play Wednesday, if they put him in Saturday at Washington, that's a full week between starts. That's just a lot. It's just a lot for me. I want Allen a little more active. So we'll see. I would start Allen, but nothing, I don't know who they're going to start. I'm sure they'll be mapping out the kind of goaltending calendar in the next couple days. Was the best day of my young life. What was the best day of your young life, Ryan? Jack says Punched Out will make you not think hockey fights are not that cool anymore. I doubt it. I've read, I know a lot about that stuff, Jack. And I get it. Nothing is going to change my mind on hockey fights, and especially now, it's totally different. Like they still have to you have to also keep that in mind. Like with all the rules, with the visors and the helmets, like the fights nowadays are nowhere near the level of devastation that the old school fights were. The old school fights were a totally different thing. Rowan, we all know Allen is just a better goalie right now. Like Markey will give you a good game, but he's not better, especially factoring in shootouts. Games have been close. Brandon, I really like your idea to switch a goalie on a loss. No, I think that's a great incentive. Just be like, listen, as long as you win and in. Win and you are in. As soon as you lose, we go to the other guy. It's the only fair. I think it's a very fair way. Obviously, nothing's completely fair. Like the team could play badly in front of you and play great for the other guy. And it seemed like that was the case last year. With Allen, I think he had some games that he definitely deserved to win and didn't because the team couldn't score or whatever. But in the end, I just think that is at least maybe not for the whole season, but for a while, I think it is a kind of a good incentive, especially if everybody knows the deal going into it. Like we're just going to ride the hot hand, and playing time will be determined on if you win or not. Faye says, go with Allen Wednesday and Markey against the Caps. Yeah, that's what I would do. And that way, Allen played the 8th, so he'd be playing again the 12th. So that's 3 full days off. 3 full days off between starts for Allen. And that would give Markey 4 days off before his next start on the 15th against the Caps. And then maybe you reassess after those 2 games who you give the start to on the 18th. Yeah, I don't know. I would go with Allen, but that's just me. Tim, Allen can sit for a while. Markey can't. That's our little conundrum here. I suppose. $12, $15. Yeah, it's weird. We have all these 1 days off, and then it's like, all right, then we have, tomorrow off, and then Wednesday, then 2 days off game, and then 2 days off again, and then it's every other. Yeah, the schedule is pretty strange. I have no strong opinion either way. I just feel like right now, Allen gives us the best chance to win at the moment. This is to make our goalies probably play better. Ryan, Connor McDavid, best on best and still the best. One of my favorite calls in NHL history. He's a beast. Tim, middleweight fights are better now. Heavyweights know how to fight a little too well now. I always like the heavyweights, but yeah, middleweight fights are always entertaining too. Sometimes you see a little more activity, a little more punches. Roman check. Mana, Canada needed that tournament win. U.S. should win the big one now. Canada's been getting lucky. The U.S. hasn't scored that game winner yet in the big game. Yeah, going back to even 2002. My boy Marty Brodeur and Team Canada beat USA in the gold medal game. That one stung. And then 2010, our boy at the time, New Jersey Devils, Zach Parise, ties it up late to send the game to overtime before Sid gets the golden goal in the Vancouver Olympics in 2010. And that's just brutal stuff. It's and then the 4 nations, right? So the last 3 big stages, yes, USA has beat them, I believe, in World Juniors or whatever, IIHFs maybe. But in the ones that really matter, Canada's been getting it done. Snow Devil Brownie was quickly becoming one of my favorite players in the team. Hope he's back Wednesday. So do I, but I've been saying that for the past 4 games. You hope he's back tonight, and then he's not. Tom P, tuning in late. Does the chat really think Markey was the problem tonight? We can't score 5 and 5. No one thinks Markey was the problem at all. Or put it this way, the majority of the people don't. There's going to be some people that think that. I certainly do not. Did Markey have the greatest game? No. Do I think he cost the team the game? Absolutely not. But when I'm just looking at this whole thing, looking at the whole team, I do feel more confident in Allen at this very moment. Now, that could change quickly. I just want to see Markey be consistent, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking about it because everyone's asking, who would you play the next game? Maybe I would go right back to Markey just to give him the nod, but I can make the argument both ways. There's a lot that goes into it. Maybe I don't know. I'd have to think about it some more. But I think both guys give us a great chance to win on any given night. But this team is going to have to embrace winning 2-1, maybe 3-2 games. We can't give up a lot right now with these injuries all over the place. Yeah, we got to grind out some ugly wins. SJ, so I've heard credible information that Pesci could be out till around Christmas. Again, that's just what I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's kind of what I've heard. Christmas could be the reality. Yeah, Faye, I don't know. I think someone just came in late and was kind of reading some random comments. Yeah, Pesci, I think, broke his hand. Average time for that is 6 to 8 weeks. Larry, Markey is paid as our starter and should be played as our starter. He needs his work that makes him the workhorse. I don't get swayed by sample size. It's a fair point. Faye, this game was just goalie versus goalie with both sides not being able to score. Michael, I'd expect Pesci back mid-December. Eric, this team still suffers from overpassing and overskating. Shoot the damn thing and hunt for rebounds and stop looking for the perfect shot. Did that all game, and Sorokin got them all. Yeah, but Sorokin's very good. He is very good, but Jack had 11 shots. That is insane. I need to know, is that... That has to be... Oh, no, it's close. He registered 13 in a game against the Blue Jackets in... shit, what year is this? December 19th, 2024. 13 shots. It's wild. Tom says, Ace, I agree about Allen. Not sure if Markey would have kept us in against the Pens. Markey took a while to get back on his feet last year after injury, but then dominated in the playoffs. Not worried yet. Roman, unless we're healthy, we are trending to last year's 5-versus-5 scoring. Guys coming back can only save us. We need bodies. We need the bodies back. Michael Cotter is far from useless. Last season, he was on a tear earlier in the season. He's had different line mates almost every game. I like Paulie Cotter, guys. And I said it right away. Unfortunately, when Connor Brown went down, or actually it was when Dodonov went down, he got screwed because he lost Grits as a line mate. Paulie Cotter was probably so jacked up after the preseason and during the preseason because he was having some really nice chemistry with Grits. And then when Dodonov got hurt, it kind of messed everything up, and he lost Grits as a line mate, and that had to be a massive blow. And it kind of sucks. I really feel bad for the kid because a lot of us have believed, he has more to give than what we've seen thus far. And in an increased role with some increased responsibilities, he might thrive. And it was looking like he was going to be with the phenom Grits, and then Dodonov goes down, everything gets shuffled up, and now he's been mostly on a fourth line with guys that are not going to, generate tons of offense. John Fay, is it wrong to just throw out a hunch and say we will probably have most or hopefully all of our guys back by playoffs? I mean, I think that's hopeful. I would like to believe that we're going to be way healthier than we are now, but guys could come back and get hurt again, or guys come back and then, as we've seen, other guys get hurt. And so with the way this team has suffered injuries this season and the prior 2 seasons, nothing shocks me. I do genuinely believe that we are cursed. I do believe that. There's no other explanation. And for all the idiots that are like, fire the medical staff and this is the trainer's fault, it's like, it's just so absurd. Trainers and medical staff aren't preventing dudes from getting broken bones. Like, how are you going to blame that on a medical staff? Yet somehow we have fans that believe that that's the case, out with their pitchforks looking to, put the blame on somebody, which I think is absurd. But in the end, they got to be healthier than they are now. But is there ever a time where every single guy is available? I would have to say statistically, no. It's just a statistical improbability, especially for this team. Roman, we don't judge someone off 10 games of their career. Everyone has a good stretch. Cotter isn't even better than Palat. What's it to you? I'm really sad about Pesci now. I was really sad about Pesci the second it happened. Jack, first place in the division, and the fan base is saying backup goalie is the answer. I don't know who's saying that either. I think we're just talking about the next couple games. Tom P. Cotter has defensive line mates. I'm okay with rounding out his game that way. Offense will come from him, but rather have a well-rounded guy who can play up and down the lineup in the future. Michael, we don't judge someone off a 10-game span, yet you are doing exactly that right now. Larry, when a goalie like Sorokin is on, he's going to stop everything he can see. We didn't have enough of in-front net presence tonight. I think he got lucky with a couple saves too, but in the end, that's all part of it. Some really weird ones that he stopped too. I do look forward to going back and watching through after I get off of here, because like I said, at the game, the replays are definitely totally different than being able to watch it, the full replay, or rewind it back as far as I want. Bobby, is there any update on Dodonov, Pesci, Covey, and Dougie? I said this before. I just don't pay attention to the updates because a lot of it is just kind of speculation or smoke and mirrors. So we'll see. I think Pesci's going to be out till mid-December at the earliest, and maybe closer to the new year. Kovacevic was always, they said January, around January. And then Dougie, I think Keefe said the other day, could be like at least a week. But when they, at least a week could be 6 months. I don't think it's 6 months, but at least a week could be 3 weeks, could be 4 weeks. I hope it's not. This team is desperately missing Dougie. But we're missing a lot of guys. Roman Cotter is the fourth line guy that doesn't generate offense. I mean, it sounds like you're just a hater. Tim says Cotter has incredible talent and the hockey sense of a potato, but he's our potato. Tom, Cotter isn't in an offensive role right now. You must think we signed Glendening to score goals too. Jack has to shoot because Brader refuses to for some reason. Roman, I'm not judging Cotter off a 10-game span. I'm not all over the map. I judge Cotter off of seasons of games. Husky says, Tim, he's our answer in the shootout. Can't deny that. Cannot deny that. Paulie Cotter is filthy in the shootout. And you saw it against the Pens before Brader followed suit and kind of scored a similar one. Yeah, Cotter is so ridiculous in the shootout. It's crazy. What a talent. Eric, if Predators keep losing, what are the chances we can get O'Reilly? What's his cap number? I can't predict what the chances are of getting anyone because it's predicated on the Devils making cap space, and there's not too many moves, I think, that are sensible that could be done to free up that money. Like trading Dougie, I think, would be suicidal. O'Reilly makes $4.5 million, which in today's cap world is pretty low. And he has one more year after this on his deal. I could see teams, I don't really know what it wouldn't be cheap in terms of assets. I'd be curious how many teams would be inquiring on him and what the cost would be. He's 34. He has this season, next season. Solid season last year, 21 goals, 32 assists for 53 points in 79 games played. And this season through 18 games, he has 6 goals and 7 assists for 13 points. So I don't know. I feel like they would ask a lot, and I feel like somebody could pay a good amount for him, which I don't know that it would be. It is a win-now move, though. I mean, let's be real. O'Reilly as a 3C, that is a total win-now move. But at what cost? I'd be so curious to know. Antonio, still not worried about these NJ Devils. Looking strong, fighting back on every win. I'll say it again, though. Luke is kind of scaring me as of recently. Looks lost. He's 22, guys. It's going to be good nights. There's going to be bad nights. Buckle up. Buckle up. But long term, I think Luke is going to be a stallion for this club. And I'm not really worried because I'm going into this whole situation kind of knowing what to expect. For some reason, a lot of you thought once he signed a $9 million contract that he was going to become this seasoned veteran overnight. And that's just not how it works. Unfortunately, it's just not how it works. Honky Lips, early morning for me. Happy Veterans Day tomorrow to all who served. God bless. Good night, Honky Lips. Brandon Thomas, I personally disagree with people with Cotter. I think he's our best gifted offensive player. He just plays with not great players. I mean, best gifted offensive player is certainly a stretch. I mean, come on, man. Look at the other guys we have. But I do think he's showed signs of, whatever you want to call it. He's got some moves. He's got some skill. You just got to put it all together. Tim's going to have to take a shower after his shootouts. Tom, O'Reilly makes like 4.5. Apparently they want an arm and a leg, though. Yeah, and I think a contending team, he could be one of those magical pieces added to a team that's kind of on the bubble where he kind of gives them that little nudge to be a real contender. And I think that could possibly be for the Devils as well. Is it worth the price they would have to pay? I don't know. I'd have to know what they're asking for, but I don't think it's going to be cheap. And I think there's going to be a lot of teams in on him. 4.5 million cap hit for what he brings for this year and one more. Win now teams will be in on that for sure. Very curious what the ask would be. Snow Devil Bratter doesn't like to shoot blind. He only takes shots when he actually has one. Tim, Trotz is a necklace edgelord. He's going to try to extort people. Yeah, it's the name of the game, Tim. Extortion. You want one of my assets? Pay me. Pay me. Anyone know Jack's shooting percentage? Well, it certainly went down after tonight. 11 shots on goal with no goals. Certainly took a hit. Roman, I'm only being a Cotter hater, by the way, because everyone here thinks there's some hidden upside for him and it's an idea more than a night-to-night reality. Well, Roman, we won't know until he gets the real chance, though. Okay, put it this way, Roman. What do you think? Do you think he would do at least what Mason has done in the games that he's played on that line? Antonio Fair, I guess I'm seeing young players who are literally gods right now, but sign of the times, I guess. I think Luke will only get better. Absolutely. Absolutely. David, we'd be 16-0 if Fitz listened to all the knowledgeable fans and converted Casey to a right wing in the offseason. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Snow Devil Luke is playing a half hour a night. Yeah, and logging massive minutes with all these injuries. Michael, Jack's shooting percentage is 18.2%. Very nice. Beachmaster went to the game, was a good one. I mean, it was a heartbreaking one. But Tim, Luke was excellent tonight. He generally is every night. He just makes some dumb mistakes every now and then. Roman, O'Reilly's deal will be cheap. Will be so cheap. Once it's retained, Trotz will make you give your firstborn for him. I mean, with retention, I'll tell you this. I'm willing to overpay with futures. I'm not trying to give roster players, but I would easily give up a first, maybe a prospect, and another piece or two if it came down to it. I've told you guys before, I don't value the futures, and especially in the next few years, because this is a true window for the Devils. Nico's here for one more year after this. Our core is rapidly, it's just years are flying by before our eyes. The core is aging, and I think the window is wide open right now. We have two 35-year-old goaltenders that are win-now goalies, so you got to kind of go all in or close to it. Push the chips in. I'm definitely making a run at a guy like O'Reilly, assuming you could figure out a sensible move to not gut the roster and free up the money. Husky says Cotter, Grits were great together. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't mind seeing them reunited. I think that could be interesting. I don't know why Cotter's kind of been shoved to the fourth. I'm trying to think. I do think, Tim, where are you at with MacEwen, Tim? I think I'm firmly on, like, MacEwen should not even be considered to be taken out of the lineup anymore. Like, MacEwen is on the fourth line no matter what. I don't really care. Figure it out. But he's not even under consideration to come out. David, agree with Tim. Don't give an inch to Doomers who think Luke is taking a step back. He had two mistakes. He was flying all night, leading Devils in time on ice and playing on offhand. He's good now. John Fay, Cotter, Grits, Brown when Brown returns to the lineup. No. You need a center, my friend. And the center was Grits, Glass, Brown. That line looked phenomenal. Grits, Glass, and Brown. I probably reunite them. Yeah, I forgot about. That's why. That's why Cotter got pushed down to the fourth. Yeah, I definitely run that For sure. Run that back again. Grits, glass, brown. Looked really good. Antonio, I'm a Cotter stan. I'm a Cotter stan. It looks like he's always so close to breaking through, but just missing the mark. But obviously filthy mitts. Tom, if Cotter was 35, I'd agree with you, but look at Glass. Took him longer to break into the league, and I think he's one of our most effective depth forwards. I agree with that. Tim says MacEwen stays. Larry, injuries are part of the game. There are 2 other teams tied with us with 6 players out. 2 teams have 7 out, and Vancouver has 9 out. My God. It's wild. Eric, exactly. We are in win now mode with Nico, the goalies, and a few others. I think O'Reilly is the needed piece to finally conquer the Hurricanes. I'm certainly interested. Like I always say, I would want to do some thorough research as to kind of see what else is potentially out there and to see if he would be the best usage of cap dollars and assets to bring him in. But he certainly would be on my short list. A lot of people have been talking about Kadri. I would like him too. He's even more expensive with more terms, so I don't know how likely that is. But I'm exploring all these things if I'm in charge. I'm exploring all of them just to see what's out there and kind of get a feel. Tom P says MacEwen has juice. Absolutely. Absolutely. I like him a lot. I liked him in the Tampa game, and I was devastated when I found out he got hurt. I was like, damn it, we finally have this kind of gritty depth guy who could bring some energy, and then he got hurt, and we're like, well, we can't have anything nice. I'm glad he's back, and I like him again. Missed him when he was gone. John Fay, MacEwen lays the body. Like Dylan, I would keep MacEwen in since he brings the body to the forward group. Completely agree. Jungle Static, Ryan O'Reilly, if available, should be a done deal, especially if it can be done mostly with picks and prospects. Sick of hearing how other teams would offer more than us. Time for the team to become the Vegas Golden Knights they can be. Yeah, I would just love to know what the offers are. But I'm certainly making one. Hold on a second. I dropped something under my desk. I got to bring my... Tim, with Zack MacEwen on the ice tonight, the Devils controlled 77.78% of the shot attempts, 14-4, 83.33% of the scoring chances, 5-1, 100% of the high danger chances, 3-0. But would you look at that? The analytics supporting the eye test. MacEwen, good depth addition. Timo is coming with the hardcore stats. SJ, time flies, man. Nico's going to be 27. No shit. And this is something I've said forever, and people are like, oh, the window's going to open in years. Dude, cores just age. Boom, 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 boom. And then eventually, traded. Signed somewhere else in free agency. Injury and is never the same. Whatever it is. And I don't want any of these things to happen, but they do happen. And we had a promising young group years ago that many of you remember that was comprised of a gentleman by the name of Travis Zajac, Zach Parise, David Clarkson. Who else was kind of in that group? I would say they were like, maybe not the main three. No, they were probably like the main three at the time of, homegrown guys that you're like, okay, something, this might be something as they age and whatever and get older. And in the end, they were all a part of some decent Devils teams, including a 2012 team that did go to the finals, but then it all kind of fell apart after that. And that was a group that I'm not going to say necessarily underachieving, but it's guys that you look back and you're like, what could have been? And it kills me that Zajac never got a cup. I love Zajac. What a Devil he was. Zajac was a great soldier, as was Zach. I know a lot of people are still going to hate on Zach for leaving. His father was sick. There's so much stuff with it. I've long made my peace with that. I was obviously furious when it happened, but as you found out more details as time went on, like, come on, have a heart, The guy's dad was really sick. He eventually passed. He wanted to be close to him. Like, you can't hold that against the dude. But I fear that if the Devils don't get aggressive somewhat soon, we may be talking about this core in years from now in the same kind of breath as like what could have been. And it would be a damn shame because I do think this core is, I'm going to say, substantially better than those guys as a whole, just because you have Jack, Brader, and yeah, I mean, you're talking about, it's a different ball game. Yeah, it would be a damn shame. John Fay, besides MacEwen and Dylan, are the only two guys in the team who will drop the gloves if and when needed. I think Nason and Cotter would. They wouldn't. They would. They wouldn't do it at the same frequency. But if they were called into battle, I believe. Nason and Cotter both would, when necessary. Roman Checkmonic, the thing with the rental is we're going to have to pay big to get Palat out. Then we're going to have to pay for the rental too. Yeah. Yeah, they're Cotter and Nason. I just said, yep. Tom P., who will be a health bomb when Dodonov comes back? Depending on how it goes, I don't know that Dodonov is just going to be gifted a spot like that. I mean, maybe he will be. And I guess it depends on how guys are playing, how the team looks at that point. But I wouldn't. I guess I'd have to see what the lines and everything is looking like at that point when he comes back. And who the hell knows when that's going to be. John Faces, I want to know who drops the gloves with Big Mac when we meet the Sens this season. Absolutely no one. Absolutely no one. But I'd be curious to know if he would be looking for that. Would be interesting. I don't. Has he been playing every game? Let me see. I've been meaning to. I looked up actually late last night. It's funny someone mentioned him because I was looking up to see if he had another fight. He only had that one fight as a senator, and he got beaten a little bit. He's played in 7 games for the Sens. Snow Devil, Keefe said tonight that the fourth line was best the 2 games MacEwen was in. Yeah, no shit. I think by a good margin too. I'm trying to think. Who else do we put? Yeah, I really want like a bang 'em up, just like destruction fourth line, but a line that could also score. That might be hard to do with the personnel we have right now and with the injuries. But what do you got? MacEwen, Cotter, and somebody. Maybe MacEwen. Oh, no, I got to think about that. Maybe Nace on the fourth line. Maybe Cotter. Maybe Palat. Although, guys, I hate to say it. I said this before. I think Palat ends up back on the top line. I really do. Maybe Dodonov. I mean, we don't really know what we're going to get with him when he comes back. Forward stack. Couldn't guess who's out when Dodonov and Brown come back. Checkmonic, Zach didn't leave because his father was sick. That just makes us feel better. I mean, why? I think that is the case. Why do you believe that that's not the case? I think that literally is exactly what happened. Ryan, I think Nico is better than Zajac. I think so too, but Zajac was very good. And I feel like in the history of Devils, he's kind of underrated. Tim, think we'll see a fourth line rotation, Cotter, MacEwen, Nason, Lemico. Tim, why don't you pull some charts on Cotter at center? There probably is not very many stats to pull from. Tom, I'm leaning towards us not needing Dodonov. Don't want to sacrifice physicality, but don't have opinion. Yeah, I'm kind of with you as well. Like, I don't know that I'm just going to be tripping over myself to give him a spot when he's healthy, but I think you will see that for at least a game. Like, when he's ready to go, much like Lemico, I think they'll be like, okay, you're ready to go. They'll figure it out and get him in a game, and then it'll be up to him to perform to kind of hold down a spot. David Kovacevic fights frequently too. On occasion, Siegs does. Has Siegenthaler ever fought David? I mean, he's gotten pummeled by Rempe, but I don't think I've ever seen him fight. Husky Unchained, I really miss having Kovacevic on the ice. Dude's an animal when needed. Faye, True Husky is another guy who would drop the gloves. Hope we get the same player back when he returns. Michael says fourth line, Nason, Glendening, and MacEwen. Interesting. Larry, I'm thinking with all the love MacEwen is deserving, Lamico is Utica bound, which might not be a bad thing since Lenny H has no points there yet. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by both him and LeChance struggling. John Fay, MacEwen is a solid guy. He creates and generates chances, lays the body, will drop the gloves when called to battle, has some speed, and is a team player. Yeah, love those kind of guys. Devils, tough loss. We scored with 4 seconds left, but in overtime, Luke and Beat gave up on defense and gave up the goal. I wish we had Jake. You guys are brutal. Robert, Stamkos, O'Reilly, who cares about age? Winners get him. I would love Stammer. I wanted Stammer really badly 2 years ago, and I thought delusionally we may have had a chance because I thought he would sign a super team-friendly deal to chase another cup and kind of stick it to the Lightning. But turns out he just wanted to chase that money, and he signed for max dollars in a state income tax-free state. Crazy. Snow Devil, if Tuck wants to leave Buffalo after the season, he'll probably be the top trade piece of the deadline. Just hope we don't come in second this time. He would go for a lot, I think. Although, how much would someone pay for a pure rental knowing that he's going to want stupid money to re-sign in the summer? I mean, I don't know. I guess if someone has cap space and kind of plans for this, does someone throw them a crazy offer to try to land him? I suppose that's possible. David says the Sens traded MacEwen all because he didn't fight Arbor Jackhughes in a preseason game where there was goon stuff. That's when the Sens called Fitz for McD. Well, I think that worked out in the Devils' favor. Roman, Stamkos really stinks this year. He might just be washed, honestly. Not much juice left or not in Nashville, at least. Oh, if you don't think Stammer, dude, the guy's a winner. Period, straight up winner. I would take a chance on him any day. John Fay, I feel like the Donov will be a solid player and returns never judge a book by its cover. Tim Wood, Siegs in the middle of every scrum. Oh, Tim. We're talking about scrum versus, I'm talking about mitts off, put him up. Fighting major, not the wrestling matches. I'll definitely count Siegs in for a wrestling match. But I'm talking about just legit mitts off and just chucking bombs. General Static, fully healthy with trade deadline moves. I'd like Bratt, Hughes, Grits, Mercer, Heischer, Meyer, Brown, O'Reilly, Nason, Cotter, Glass, Dodonov, firing all cylinders, one of the best forward lines in the league. You are nuts if you don't have MacEwen in this lineup somewhere. But those are, at a quick glance, I do like those lines. So Siegs is again NJ Devil. Siegs is proving he's a beast in a shell. He got owned by somebody. Was it Siegs? I think someone tried. I forget. I think it was Siegenthaler. Someone tried to check Duclair, and Duclair crunched him. Want to see Dodonov with Jack and Brad. Didn't see enough. Tim, we've had one fight. Kova and Dilly handle the fights if needed. No, that was just in response to someone asked who would fight. I'm not holding it against Siegenthaler for not fighting. Someone just said who would fight. That's all. I'm not counting him as a guy that would fight. Robert Nemitz, righty power play with Dougie out. Roll with it. After that blast, his job to lose. I don't think so. I just can't see it happening for so many reasons. At least he's going to get power play time, just not power play 1. Siegs has had 4 full-blown fights in his career. Rare, but it's happened. Just looked it up. Were they all in Washington? Oh, he's had 2 here. They're both in 21. My God. He's had 3 in the NHL. One of those was a minor league fight. 3 NHL fights. And the most recent one, holy shit, he fought Nick Foligno. That's crazy. Oh, I have to watch that real quick. He fought Nick Foligno. Yeah, he must have got killed. The voting results on hockey fights. It's Siegenthaler 0%, Nick Foligno 92%, and then draw 8%. He must have got murdered. Let me just watch this real quick. Ooh. Starts off with a... Oh, my God. I can't... Is that Siegs taking the... Oh, yeah, he never stood a chance in this. How did 8% of people draw? He got whomped on. Wow. I mean, credit to him. Nick Foligno's a tough customer. But yeah, then he fought Ryan Donato in October of 21. And then December 29th of 21, he fought, I don't know who B. Murray is on Buffalo. But anyway, Tim Fitzcleary did his homework, and Dodonna playing with Jack and Brat was the design. Husky and Chains says, I want to see Nico drop the gloves. I want to win the lottery. Snow Devil Siegs got pretty feisty when Nico was hit. Siegs is a sneaky assassin in his beat and goatee. That makes him look like NJ. John, I wonder what kind of lineup we'll have when Dodonov and Brown return. Dave, Siegenthaler landed 4 punches below expected that fight. Yeah, I love that, David. 4 punches below expected. Oh, man. Yeah, it's the NHL, guys. Fighting in the NHL is a brutal gig. A brutal gig. Guys, I have a problem. I bought more Devils merch at the store tonight. Man, I have a problem. I think I might be working on a second Devil's Closet of Devil's merch. All right, anyone have anything else? It's I've been on here for a while. I've just been all over the place. I'm sure a lot of you are off tomorrow, which is why this is probably going on. I'd assume it goes Plot, Jack, Brat, Timo, Nico, Mercer, Dodonna, Brown, Grits, Cotter, Glendenning, McEwen. You're completely skipping Glass. You never have enough. Tim says first step is admitting you have a problem. I mean, I haven't been in denial about it. I've been very, very aware of it for quite some time. But sometimes these things just call to me. Oh, wait. Always here. I do like the Jetty stuff. Hello. Oh, wait. Did it recover? Can you guys hear me? I think it recovered. I knocked it out. and then it recovered. Can someone confirm in the chat you could hear? Can you hear me? Can someone type in the chat? You can hear me. Thank you, John. This is the newest jetty. This is the front. And we got the back. And then I bought a t-shirt that I didn't grab that bag. I was in a sprint to run out of my car. The Devils actually posted on Instagram a while back. It's a company called Nork, I think, N-O-R-K. Let me see. Yeah, I'm fading. It's over. All right. I need to use the bathroom one more time. Final comments, questions, suggestions. I always like the suggestions. Throw those out in the chat. I'm going to use the bathroom real quick, and then we shut this thing down. I've been on here for a while. I was fired up, even though it was a loss. Be right back. But yeah, throw out the suggestions. I'm always looking for the suggestions to make improvements. Let me know. And I'll be back in 2 minutes. And then we'll start winding this thing down. Shout out to everyone who came out tonight. Appreciate all of you, as always. Got some cool stuff in the works. But yeah, thoughts, comments. Definitely looking for the suggestions. Be back in 2 minutes. We start winding this down. And be right back. Be right back. Zero % chance Brown is scratched. I mean, did anyone suggest that? That's crazy. Made in Jersey via the Philippines. I don't know what is that about the shirt, maybe? John Fay, my lines finalized would be Palat, Jack, Brad, Timo, Nico, Mercer, Dodonov, Glass, Grits. Yeah, you missed. Brown subs in for MacEwen. That's crazy. Brown is locked in third line or higher, but no lower than the third line for Brown. Got to see the McJesus goal. I got to check that out. Stanislav, what's going on? What's up, Ace? I was at the game with my kids. Overall, I thought the game was fun. However, I think Luke needs some improvement. I mean, listen, I say it over and over again. 22 years old, you're going to have some bad nights, but tonight wasn't one of them, I don't think. That one play was unfortunate. I have to go back and watch it. Everyone said he was interfered with, and then he hit the linesman or the linesman hit him. Scott, I honestly think it's very hard for us to round out a better roster by trade. As long as our top four can stay healthy, we're going to survive this. Personally, don't think losing Nemo or Mercer is worth it. Mercer, definitely not. Losing Mercer would be a huge hole. I think Nemo would be a hit too, but I think if I had to pick out of the two, I think we absorb no Nemitz more so than no Mercer, if I'm being honest. But I would hate to lose either one of them. If Paulie played with McDavid, he would be prime Jordan Chichu on his wing. Oh, man, Chichu won the Rocket, I believe. Didn't he win the Rocket when he played with Joe Thornton? He definitely did. I think he had some, let me look it up. He had some insane amount of goals. Mm, 56 goals. Yeah, he won the Rocket in 05-06. Oh, my God. 56 goals playing with Joe Thornton. Gotta be what a time to be alive. To be on Joe Thornton's wing. A dominant Joe Thornton. Saw them. I got to see the McDavid goal. Roman Checkmonic. McDavid is so good that I found that women who don't watch sports can tell that he's really good. I mean, he's a video game. I've told everybody, when they come to town, you must go see the Oilers in the NHL city closest to you. The Connor McDavid show is electric. Completely electric. Meyer, Heischer, Mercer. All right, guys, that's it. I'm tired. It sucks. Devils lose tonight, unfortunately, in overtime by a score of 3-2 against the Islanders. They probably should have won the game in regulation. It is what it is. They got a point, luckily, off of the strength of a Shimon Nemitz goal with 5 seconds left to force the overtime. We got caught in overtime, and it sucks. Would have loved to stay unbeaten on home ice. Would have loved to get that extra point, but 5 out of 6 points on the 3-game homestand, I will certainly take it and be thrilled. Going out on the road for a 5-game road trip, and they just got to stay above water. We need some bodies back. Need the bodies back desperately, but thank you all for coming out. Appreciate the support as always. If you are a longtime fan or just want to hear from one of the legendary figures of New Jersey Devils, Stanley Cup, glory days, check out the Mike Peluso interview because it's a pretty good one, I have to say. Mike has some excellent stories. I put the link in the chat here. Check out my man Mike Peluso with your boy Ace. That just came out a couple days ago. I just put the link in the chat. But that's it, guys. 5-game road trip, and they don't play again at the Rock for almost 2 weeks till the 24th. That's going to be brutal. But maybe that'll help me get back on my slightly healthy eating because games have been just devastation. Devastation at the Devils games. But that's it. That's it. Devils lose 3-2 in overtime. It sucks. I'm happy with the loser point. Overall, the New Jersey Devils are 11-4-1. And if you would not have signed up for that, you're lying, especially with all the injuries. This is not last year's team. This team is different. And I'm excited for the rest of the season. It's a long road ahead, 82 games. We are only 16 games in, just about 20%, which is kind of crazy to think about, right? It seems like it was just training camp, but now we're almost 20% of the way through the regular season. I want games at the Rock in June so bad. So badly I want games at the Rock in June. But that's it. I'm done. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.